Emergency. Queen's Quest arrived. Emergency. Queen's Quest arrived. Emergency. Queen's Quest
down to the queens.
Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everybody inside and outside of the gender spectrum, and welcome back to Stardom Quest Gold, the best weekly Stardom and Marigold podcast anywhere in the world. I'm, as always, Alex, and I'm joined by Dylan. Hi, Dylan.
Hi, Alex. Hi, everybody. It's your favorite calcified Stardom boomers on the mic. We are here to talk about pretty much nothing. Not much has happened. Depending on who you ask, of course, because obviously stuff has happened.
Yeah.
But
We aren't about to address the Joshi Wars. We're just going to stick to on-screen. But, you know, Marigold didn't run, so that is one main thing that just didn't happen. But Stardom did stuff. So...
yeah. You know what's funny? Not gonna dive into the Joshi Wars as you called them. Me and Scott were talking about starting a new podcast. And the funniest part, it's not about wrestling. Because we were like, wouldn't it be so much fun if we just like stopped talking about wrestling and started talking about Big Brother instead? Because that's pretty much what me and Scott talk about these days.
I did not take Scott for a Big Brother viewer.
He's a bigger Big Brother fan than I am.
Everything about Scott astounds me. Every time I find out something new about Scott, I'm just like, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever with his character. Because somebody told me he drives a truck, and I was like, there's no way that man drives a truck.
Yeah,
like, he is too pooky to drive a truck. There is no way.
But yeah, because legitimately, as you know, and sorry, I know this is a bit of a sidetracking, but as you know, me, Scott, and Xavier often hop on a call each week just to like watch wrestling, usually like CMLL or like a Sendai show if we've missed it. And recently this summer, Xavier will get off, and then me and Scott will be like, okay, now let's talk about Big Brother, and we talk about Big Brother for an extra like hour and a half. Because we both are big fans of the show. It just ended. This season just ended a couple days ago.
Oh, right.
But we're both kind of like historian nerds about Big Brother. There's fucking 27 seasons, so there's a lot to talk about. And yeah, I was like, we should start a podcast about this. Fuck everything else we were ever gonna do. Let's start a podcast about this. Because me and Scott have had podcast ideas like 20 times. None of them come together. This one probably won't either. But yeah, maybe I'll just stop watching wrestling. Who knows?
Okay, maybe it might be for the best. Well, head on over to the 5-star-network.com for all of the latest articles and podcasts from the wonderful world of pro wrestling. And head on over to the 5-Star Network YouTube channel, which is where this, as well as shows like Actress Stage and No Limit Wrestling, all go up. There was a new No Limit. Well, technically new. It was recorded a while ago. Randomized draft. So you got Shane O'Mac. I think that's an instant win on your end.
The first overall pick, sorry to spoil it, but the first overall pick from the draft was Shane McMahon, stylized as Shane
he
O'Mac.
should be, in fairness. Like, what a beast.
I think Shane McMahon rules. Yeah, so we recorded it December 26th of last year. And we were like, what about if we just like keep the, because we actually, a week before we did the tag team draft with you, if you remember.
Yes.
And Scott was like, you know, I'm off for like a week. Xavier was off for like a week. So we were like, let's just do another draft. Those are fun. And so we did a randomized draft, and we decided it would also be randomized when we would put it up. And so we ended up putting it out this past week. I watched most of it back. Very funny, I'll say. I think it was a very funny draft, a very fun draft. I really like the randomizer concept. So I'm the only one that remembers that the punishment was supposed to be the loser has to watch Gami's retirement match, which is the 77-person battle royal. I don't think either of them will do it but it looks like I'm losing anyway. So like, I guess that's on me, or maybe I'll just pretend like that didn't exist. We'll see. But yeah, go check that out on the No Limit or on the Five Star Network YouTube channel because it was a lot of fun, and we will return to more normal, regularly scheduled programming for No Limit soon. Because obviously we have the big egg in November, and I still want to do an Anai episode. Uh, I'll probably end up
You
just
guys are burning the wick on that. It's
yeah. I think we'll probably just end up doing a two person for that one.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, so that's the forecast for you. Go check that
Okay.
out, please.
All right. Well, let's dive into the action. Stardom is where we start because they actually ran a show, which is kind of important for us to discuss it. But I think beyond that, they did something in the entertainment world that is kind of more important than a lot of the pro wrestling aspects. Live It or Love It, I can't remember the name. The TV show that Saya Kamitani has been appearing on every Friday. It was her last week on that as a regular, and they set up a ring and they had her and Hanan wrestle in a like 10-minute exhibition. And so, this is like the first time that Joshi has been aired on, I think it was like terrestrial TV or something, in 23 years. So this is kind of groundbreaking, obviously. I mean, an actual Joshi wrestling match happening on primetime TV is huge. And it's when people talk about the dark ages of Joshi, I think they don't talk enough about the lack of TV. Like, I remember having this debate with somebody who was like, "Oh yeah, indie companies never grow," and I'm like, "How? There's no television. How are you meant to grow if nobody can watch your product, right?"
Yeah,
And so I think getting that match on TV and seemingly it's like winning over a lot of new fans is really big, and it's a real reason why Stardom is where they are right now. They're making the best use of their kind of partnerships and broadcasting deals, and they're getting their name and their brand out there a lot. So I feel like we'd be silly not to talk about such a momentous occasion.
yeah. I mean that's the thing is that it's like when you think about wrestling is such a insular thing, just as a industry. Like if you think about football, either American or international football, uh, everybody knows somebody that likes football, either of them. So it's like, why are you showing me your crayons? Go, go, go,
Mhm.
go from the restaurant. Okay, sorry, my niece interrupted.
Okay.
Um, no, I think when you look at like something like football, which is very very popular, both soccer and American football, like if I wanted to really like dive into football, I know at least four people I could ask and be like, "Hey, how do I watch it?" They'd be like, "Oh, watch it like this. Very simple, and it's very easy to watch." Not so much anymore because like streaming services, but still. Point being, it's pretty easy to watch, pretty simple, very accessible. Wrestling has never really been like that, especially when you go beyond. Not never, but hasn't been like that in a long time beyond WWE, and even WWE felt very inaccessible until the Peacock deal throughout the 2010s. It felt like nobody was watching it because it's like everybody was stopping on cable. And Japan is like that on steroids with wrestling. Like wrestling hasn't had non-samurai TV. Like it's just not around that much. New Japan is, but like outside of that, Joshi wrestling especially has not been around that much on like actual TV and outside Tokyo MX are they on? I think
Yeah,
for We Are Stardom.
they
Like
were.
they
I don't know if
were.
they still are.
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I have no idea if they
I
still
thought they
do
got
We Are
rid of
Stardom.
Tokyo MX.
They might, but I don't know if they still do like We Are Stardom at all. I haven't
They,
seen it in a
I
while.
feel like they do. They put it on
They
YouTube
have
every
to.
week.
But point being, getting on, a big TV and getting a wrestling match on big time TV is huge,
Mm.
obviously for the industry and for the company itself. So yeah, I'm definitely like happy for them. I I still always kind of wonder how much of this is Sai Kamatani being popular and how much of it is Stardom being popular. Um,
Yeah.
which is for right now, it's one and the same, so it doesn't really matter. But like, I wonder how much like people watched that match and were like, "Oh, I like Hanan. I want to be Hanan's biggest fan now." Or if it was, or if they were more like, "Wow, Saya Kamitani is really fucking cool." Which, like both of the like one of those is obviously going to have happen more often amongst quote unquote casual viewers, or just viewers of the TV show. It's more than likely that they were like, "Oh, Saya Kamitani, the girl I've been watching every week, is pretty cool, and her thing that she does is also kind of cool." Uh, I do wonder how it will translate, because it's not like a Stardom show got on terrestrial TV or whatever. Like it's not like
Yeah.
that's what happened. Um, so I wonder how much of this will be were people coming on board for the Sai Kamatani gravy train, and how much of it will be a withstanding fan base growth for Stardom and Joshi Wrestling entirely. I mean, Joshi Wrestling is having more of a boom recently than it has in a long time. Joshi Wrestling overall, I mean, you know maybe not overall, because a lot of the indie companies are really failing, but like Joshi Wrestling has a higher tide recently, and you can definitely credit Stardom with most of it. But I kind of wonder, and I guess this has been the question for the Stardom fan base for the past years. Like, how many of these people are Tam fans? How many of these people are Stardom fans? How many these people are Saikam Tai fans? Because there's obviously overlap, but I think there's definitely chunks that are like that left with Tam, and chunks that came with Saya. Like I think that's a number. So I'm fascinated to uh, see if this is a real needle mover long term, with or without Saya.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they have to worry about not having Saya for a little while.
Yeah.
But they did try their best to grab new fans. They put up some of Saya's biggest matches. I think all of her title matches went up on YouTube for
Mhm.
free. Saya was tweeting about it. The entire roster was tweeting about it. It was kind of like, hey, look, this is all of us. Pay attention to all of us. And there did seem to be a lot of new, like people who had never seen women's wrestling before that were like, hey, this is really cool. But yeah, it is about kind of getting them to buy tickets, because I think I got one reply to the tweet I made that was talking about TJPW, because obviously Mizuki has gone viral like 5 times now,
Mhm.
and generally that doesn't seem to have translated into tickets, because they at Corkin are stuck kind of in like that 600 to 800 range. Their big shows this year have all done about 13 to 1500. So that virality of Mizuki hasn't really translated to people actually watching. But I do think Stardom's done a better job than TJPW usually does of being like, you should watch us as well. Like Saya's cool, but you should also watch our company. Um, so yeah, I do think they're doing a much better job of like tempting new fans at the very least. So I don't know. They also put the Korakuen that we're going to talk about on YouTube for free, and it had like
Yeah.
200,000 views in 15 hours, which is pretty good. So,
Shout out to whoever made that decision.
um, I felt like there was another news thing from Stardom, but I'm completely blanking on it. I know they've announced some matches for the upcoming future. Basically, they've confirmed that Hanako's first defense will be against Aya Sakura in China next weekend. And they've also made it official that Momo Watanabe and Saya Kamitani will face off for the dual belts at the Ota Award show in November. So, kind of the expected stuff there. But I guess we should get on to the review part.
This
We
is
had
this is
one.
completely off topic, but there's a recent Jack Perry quote that said, "In my time off, I discovered what Tumblr was."
Oh, that poor man.
I just think that's the funniest line I've ever heard. Straight
Okay.
thinking of Jack Perry being like, "Huh, Tumblr, interesting." It just that just sounds hilarious. But sorry, go on.
Okay. Well, we have one show that we can review. This was Stardom in Cork in 2025. Fantastic name. This is on Saturday, September 27th, and they announced a super sold out 1,638 fans. This was completely sold out. They put like extra tickets on sale, and even they sold out. It was standing tickets or like balcony tickets. People were basically everywhere. Um, and I think that's again your Saya Kamitani effect. I think you did this big match between her and Azumi. You just had Azumi go to the final of the Grand Prix. I think they built this match up pretty well, and it's another feather in Saya's cap that she was able to draw like a complete sellout at Corkin.
Yeah, one other thing that I thought we should probably bring up is that they did 1,200 Aomori 2 days later as well. That's a crazy number
Yes,
for a house show.
the business
That
is
was
insane.
probably yeah. So like when I say I question a Stardom without Sai Kamitani, while that's still the case, I will say that Stardom, even with Sai Kamitani not in like premier spots, is doing insanely well. I mean, the main event
Mm.
of this show was Kid and Miyu versus Konami and Rina. Like. Uh, I imagine Sai Kamitani wore a T-shirt in the match she was in because it was the opener. Um, but yeah, so just wanted to say that they are doing obviously very very well. And yeah, the Korakuen obviously crazy number, 1,600, highest of all time for Stardom, I
Yeah, well,
think.
you physically can't get more people into the venue, so I
Yeah, I
would
think
think
I
so.
think
I
I
feel
think
like
like
even
the
Saya Tam didn't have the standing
no the
sold.
highest I want to say the highest Korakuen that there ever was one of the New Year's Dash events. Uh, which yeah, I think did 1,700. So like that's and that was like physically like they were like, yeah, we might get kicked out. Like we we can only do this because we're New Japan, sort of thing. Um, and yeah, so that is an insane number. Good for them. And yeah, it's off the back of Sai Kamitani being, uh, such a giant star. Because otherwise, the show there wasn't
Yeah,
anything.
I mean, Hina versus Hanako isn't drawing, you know?
No.
Like, that's
And as much as I love Hina, yeah, it's not like that was like, oh, I'm going to the show to see Hina versus Sonic. Nobody said that.
yeah,
Nobody said that about any of these matches below that either. Uh, outside of the 50 people who came to see Sari, I'm guessing.
the Sari squad, yeah.
Yeah, who are who
Um,
are who are craving Sariism the next chapter because it's been a minute.
yes, we need it. We need the
Yeah,
didn't she announce a date, or has she not?
she did. She did.
She
I
did,
think it's
okay.
before the end of the year. Hasn't announced a card yet, but yeah.
Get the finger out, sorry. We gotta get
Mhm.
to do stuff. Anyway, this show opened with Natsupoi, Soriano, and Tai Hanma beating Rani Agami, Sayaka Kurara, and Rian. Hanma beat Rana in just under 11 minutes. Pretty natural pairing to finish on. They gave a lot of focus to Hanma, who is retiring. But they also let her and Yagami kind of mix it up, which I think is the best fit. I think
Mm.
Yagami is one of the most Hanma-esque wrestlers in Stardom, except for maybe Kikyo. So yeah, I thought they had some like fun stuff at the end that really leaned into what they're both good at.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. I thought that this match was good, if not forgettable, because I did like Rana and Hanma's stuff. This happens with a lot of wrestlers who are retiring, but like this was one of those matches where I was like, Tai Hanma really did have some cool stuff in her game, uh, that I wish we got to see more, throughout the past couple years because she really hasn't done anything in a long
Yeah,
time. Um, but like I watched this and I was like, her and Rana have some good chemistry. I would have liked to see more of Hanma recently if she was, again, it's not like she did anything insane, but just like kind of working at a higher level than she has been. Uh, she's been pretty mellow in the past couple years.
that's putting it lightly. Um, our next match was Waka
Oh,
Skiyama.
that set up Tai versus Rana as a
Yeah,
singles.
we'll preview that. We had Waki Skiyama beating Momo Kogo. This was originally a three-way with Saki Kashima, who was pulled from the show the day of. They kind of just kept what I imagine it would have been. It would have been a comedy match with Saki Kashima, and it was kind of a
Would have
comedy
been
match
funnier.
without her. Yeah, you don't get much funnier than Saki. It was
Where
short.
the
They just
heck
did
is
their
Saki?
thing. I don't know. She
That's for
got
the 10.
hurt.
That's for the 10 LeSeraphim fans out there. Shouts out.
Oh,
You know what
okay.
it's about.
Yeah, it went 5 minutes. It's inoffensive.
It was not
Um,
good, but yeah.
yeah. Our next match was Hanan Saida and B Priestley of Stars beating Momo Watanabe, Konami, and Fukigen Def in 6.5 minutes.
By
Konami
DQ.
got them, yes, disqualified when she brained Hanan with a chair. Seemed to be doing a kayfabe injury
Well,
angle.
she hit Hanan with the chair, and she also was hitting Barb with the chair, which is actually what matters.
Of course, that's why they got disqualified. Was Barb.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the match wasn't really much. They were just setting up an angle,
No.
basically.
No.
No, it's fine.
It's funny. It's funny. B Priestley, former tag team championship partner on the other team, and also her former uh, leader and former Cinderella final competitor in Momo and Konami, and nobody gave a fuck. I don't blame them, but you know,
Yeah,
sometimes I wonder if the new regime knows what B Priestley was before she left.
I'm sure they do. I
Like, do they know she was a heel?
Yes,
Because
I
like
imagine that was pretty obvious.
you would think. I don't know. I just find that sort of stuff kind of funny. But yeah, match was
Okay.
nothing until it was even less.
Yeah. We then had a three-way quartet battle. The team of Hazuki, Koguma, Yuna Mizumori, and Aya Sakura beat Emma Maishima, Miyu Amasaki, Mei Sarah, and Starlight Kid, and Rini Yamashita, Itsuki Aoki, Bazilla, and Akira Kuragane. This one only lasted 9 minutes before Hazuki won with a senton on Emma. Um,
Mhm.
it
Good.
was cool for what it was. I thought it would be way better, but I think they just kind of went out there and did their bits. That was kind of it. Like the Movie Loca trio, even or quartet, even didn't really do a whole lot. So, it was kind of okay.
Yeah, I thought it was a good little match. So they're already sowing dissension between La Vida Loca or Mi Vida Loca
Mm, kind of. I think
with
they're just.
Bozilla hating Akira Kuragane for being a loser.
I think that's
Um,
just Bozella's gimmick. To
yeah,
be honest,
but it's
she
also
kind of did a
difficult
lot
to.
over the past
She,
year.
dude, that was just her in Marigold. That's all she
Yeah,
did.
literally
Was that
just yelling at
she would
Megaton.
tag with someone and would hate them for losing.
Yeah,
Um, Kind of Walter-esque. Maybe it's like
kind of.
a European thing. Um, because yeah, Gunther would always beat the fuck out of Ludwig Kaiser. Whenever he would lose. So maybe that's just kind of like what they're going for here. But yeah, thought the match was solid.
Mm,
Always happy to see Hazuki get in a closing stretch and wrestle.
yes, and she
This is also
challenged.
where they yeah.
Yeah, she challenged Koguma for the CMLL Japan Women's Championship. They did say it was for the next Korakuen in October. I think it's October
They did.
13th, but that isn't on the news thing yet, as far as I saw. So I didn't bring it up. But yeah, that's official. They were both actually as well announced for the CMLL Women's Month thing. So they are going over
Women's Grand Prix. Yeah.
for the Grand Prix, which is usually one of the highlights of the year. They'll also be working a few tags, I think, around that time. So maybe we'll get Kira and Scotty versus FWC. That is my dream match. That is the one thing I want to see. I love Scotty. I love Kira, and FWC are cool.
You will only
Um,
get that if FWC loses to Sky Blue and Julia Hart in the first round of the Women's Championship Tag Team Tournament in AEW.
I think
That one
assuming Tony
must.
Khan will book any Joshi teams is giving him a lot of credit. But you know
Yeah.
what? Sure.
Speaking. Oh, wait, that's not for a bit.
Our next match was Lady C, Ami Sourei, and Kyoka Kotatsu of God's Eye beating Natsuko Tora, Uraka, and Rina of Hate. Lady C beat Tora in 12 minutes with a big boot to
I
set up a goddess match, I think.
I really
In
like this match.
Yeah,
Actually,
it was
I
good.
really enjoyed it. I thought it was very good.
I
Um,
mean, they had Lady C doing a finishing
I
stretch,
think
and we
Lady C
know
was great.
how much we love Lady C.
I think Ami was great. I think Natsuko was great. I think Kurako was great. I think Rina was great. I thought Kotatsu was also fine. Like I thought she was good enough. You know what I mean? Like she didn't detract from it. She threw a couple good kicks. Like that's fine. I thought this was yeah. I actively enjoyed this one. I was like yeah. Like this was when I was like, are gods that good?
Yeah, I think some of them are good.
But like as a group, they're pretty
Well,
much all good
yeah,
except for Kotatsu, arguably. Uh, they're all good. Like, cause like look at this card. I think that most of the good wrestlers on this card were in God's Eye. Like most of the good performances. I thought Rana had a good performance against Hanma, notably.
Mhm.
I think that Lady C and Ami were great here. I think Sharon Tomoko were great in the next match. I think Hina was a fucking beast in her match. It's like God's Eye carrying? Question mark.
I would agree. I think so.
I've been begging for them to like break up for so long because
You just didn't
they're
see the vision.
they're just so there's nothing like it feels like such a random amalgamation of people.
It
Um,
is.
yeah, it still is, but they're good, I guess. So here we are. Fuck it. Um, yeah, very good match. Natsuko and Ruaka, I adore them as a team.
Mhm.
Um, I wish I, I'm hoping for a good tag league from them because like I just think they're so great. And I want to see more of them tagging. Like and that being like a focal point of the match. I think that's what one of the reasons why I like this was because it felt like Natsuko and Ruaka were like, you know, integral to the match. They oftentimes kind of fade to the background in bigger hate matches. So I think getting to see them get a bit more focus was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, I really like the Amisore Rocka stuff. I was
Same.
going to point that out. I just was like, this is what I have always wanted from Amisore, and she is really rising to the occasion here. But I think Tora looks great just in
Yeah.
general. I think she's slimmed down and just moving a lot better than she has recently, and you could see that in the finishing stretch with Lady C. Um, like they were just both able, they were both moving really well. And Lady C's big lady offense is fantastic. So having that against Tora, who is kind of a really good bumper, I thought that was just really fun at the end. So yeah, I really liked a lot of stuff in this match. It was one of the better ones of the show.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I do think they challenged for the goddess after that
Yeah.
officially. I haven't seen the translations, but I assume that's
They
what
were
the promo
gesturing
was
for it
about.
at least.
Yeah, and they've kind of been set up as the possible um, contenders for a bit ever since Ami won that tag match on the pay per view. So I
Have
think
they
they'll do that
defended the
at some
goddess
point
belts
next
yet,
month.
or is this V1?
This would be V1, yeah, because they won them
Oh,
mid tournament, I want to say. So kind of
right
difficult.
before it, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult to do it. But that was that match anyway. We then got on to Sari and my gosh, I'm burpy for no reason. Sari and Kuro Ito beating Tomoka Inaba and Siri in just under 9 minutes. Siri beat Tomoka Inaba with a Uranagi. No, Sari beat Inaba in 9 minutes with a Uranagi. This was good. They didn't get a lot of time to like get going. So it was mostly just kind of Inaba getting her ass beat. Um, but I did like a lot of the stuff, like how they tried to chop down Kuro Ito. Um, I don't think Kuro Ito looked particularly impressive in this one. She's getting
How dare
slower
you?
somehow, but I liked how like Inaba and
She's
Suri were
awesome.
chopping her down, and then the Sari and intensity with Inaba at the end was pretty awesome. Sari's fucking finisher looked so good. Japanese fans were literally crying about it, so that's awesome.
Fucking Tomoki Inaba's trainer had to be like, I teach people better than you guys act, okay? She's fine. Like Taco was like, shut up. Like you guys are fucking we're supposed to get dropped on our heads. That's the point, you fuckers. And I was like, thank you. That's
Yeah.
surprising. Him and Ito were like, I agree. And Ito was like, I was there also, by the way. But yeah, no, this was awesome. I awesome's a strong word. I thought it was a very good match. I liked it. I thought Saori did great as always. And I think her and Ito are just such a intimidating duo that I really enjoy what they can bring to matches. Um, even like I joke, but I recognize Ito's many limitations. I think a lot of them are made to look a lot better with Sari in comparison to like her team with Watanabe, for example. Like they they don't complement each other very well in 2025. I think Sari and Ito can complement each other a lot better than other teams with Ito. So I really appreciated what this match was, and yeah, I thought the finish was fucking insane. Because Ito, people only see the gif of Saori dropping Tomoka on her head. Ito fucking like blasted her through the ring with a power bomb before that. It was awesome.
Yeah, that was cool. There was
We
a
should
double foot stomp from Sari as well. It was very good.
Yeah, it was the crazy power bomb, foot stomp, pick her up, fucking Uranage. It was over. Like it was like they killed her. It was awesome. If Sari and Ito challenged Natsuko and Ruaka, I would be the happiest man alive. They won't, but it would be really cool, I think. So yeah,
Okay.
after
Afterwards they
this
set up
match,
Sari
yeah,
versus Siri, which kind of isn't the direction I was expecting. I'm kind of surprised that they've cooled off doing the Saya match that Saya and Sari have kind of been setting up on social media. But I guess they're just gonna 50-50 it, which is very Sari. Comes in, beats you for the belt, talks her shit, and then drops it and leaves. But I didn't think they'd put it back on Siri, but I guess maybe they don't mind it because they don't defend it all that much. So I don't know. It's a fine use of
yeah,
Siri. It keeps her doing something for the year.
yeah. I mean, I think Shuri just winning it back from Sari will feel like a strange use of Sari.
Yeah.
Uh, is the most generous way I can call it. Because, like, I don't think it's a problem putting Shuri over Sari. I think that makes sense ultimately. I mean, they had a draw. Sari won. Shuri gets her win back. That makes sense. But I don't think they've done enough in the like the time in between that. With Sari, I don't feel like they've used her to her fullest ability. I think they've just kind of uh made people hate her and are not paying that off really with anything. Because I don't really think Shuri needs that rub. I don't expect her to really be doing much post Sari, but also, I could be wrong. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Uh, yeah, I mean, definitely not what I was expecting. I was expecting Sari versus Saya. I feel like most people were. I feel like Sari
Hmm.
seemingly was. Honestly, it seems like Saya was until she deleted her tweets. Um, yeah, it's a choice. Sari says she's gonna go to America first and defend the belt, so we'll see where that
It's gonna be a
happens.
great Ring of Honor special. Yeah.
Swear to fucking God, if they put that shit on Ring of Honor, like when's the next Ring of Honor pay per view? Isn't it in December?
Does Ring of Honor even run those? Yeah,
Yes, they
probably
they pretty
December.
much exclusively run pay per views. They don't really
Yeah,
do
it'll
it.
probably be TV. She'll just get
Um,
put on Ring of Honor TV.
that will be a miscarriage of justice if I've ever seen one.
Possibly. Her problem is her dream match, from what I've heard privately, is like Taya Valkyrie, and she I don't think is ever on TV. So I think it would have to be Ring of Honor to get Taya.
Where
So
did you hear Taya Val? Like I've heard Athena and Tony Storm. Where did you
um
hear Taya
no,
Valkyrie?
because she was in NXT when Taya would have been there. So I think she like really
Oh shit, yeah,
likes
I guess that
Taya
they're probably
from
buds.
her
Yeah,
time as Frankie Monet.
I
I
believe
think
that.
she told somebody if she worked America, she wanted Taya on the show in some form. So
Hmm. Well, maybe
yeah,
maybe if we don't get that, maybe Taya will be on Sarism USA in 3 years.
hell
Uh,
yes,
whenever that ends up happening, 'cause she did say
I
that.
don't.
She did say that
She
she wanted
did.
to do that.
That's what I've heard.
But yeah, I don't know if it it would be crazy if they put an IWGP Championship match on Ring of Honor TV. I can't even lie. Like that's what Collision's
Right.
for.
I don't know. You gotta be in a tag team match now. Get on.
What?
Tag matches on Collision. We do all star tags here. Maybe.
Okay.
Anyway, our next match was for the Future of Stardom Championship. Hanako beat Hina in 14 minutes with a JP coaster. The move handed down to her by Himeka herself to capture the gold. It's not gold, it's white and silver. Um, but yeah, Hanako's crowning, and this was a very good match.
No, I
Like
think this
very,
was.
very good.
Mhm.
One of my favorite Hanako performances ever. I think
Yep.
she's slowly but surely been adding this kind of stuff to her game. I thought her forearms over the past few months have been getting a lot better. And here she was able to go toe to toe with Hina in the forearm game. There's a lot of really good strikes throughout this. But I thought her finishing stretch was pretty good. Like her big woman offense is definitely looking a lot better. Um, Obviously we know Hina's quality. Hina was great in this, but I was really impressed by Hanako. Like just genuinely, it was like, holy shit, I see what they were going for now.
Just so you know, it is gold. This belt
Oh, I
is
see.
is
Okay.
is gold. It's not silver. I thought Hanako once again had one of her better matches ever against Hina. I think the same could be said about the 5-star match they had.
Mm.
I just think Hina's great. Frankly, I know I'm a broken record at this point, but she's so good, and she did such a great job of putting Hanako over here. I really think this was the best way you could have given Hanako the belt,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know if anybody would have been able to put Hanako over like this and make me be like, you know what, maybe we're fine. Maybe we're fine. I'll see that Aya Sakura match, and I'm not particularly uh confident about that, but I appreciate what Hina was able to do here. I appreciate what she was able to do with the belt overall throughout her run, and yeah, another good one. I
Yeah.
I know people always kind of look at Hina as like the distant third of the sisters, but I think that like her title run ultimately ended up being um of a similar quality to her sisters with a worse
Yes.
field, arguably. Like I think without I think Rena benefited from a certain match style that she used. I think Hina operated a bit more within the bounds of like what a future title match is kind of meant to be, and did really well with it. I think Rena was just having like proxy World Wonder of Stardom Championship matches, which is also
Yeah.
good. But at certain points, I'd be like, I don't need two of these matches on this card, or I don't need, I think there was something very special about Hina's run that was not only different from her sisters, but also in certain ways I liked more than her sisters, because it got the time and respect of Rena's. Because if you remember
Mm.
Hanan's, basically every match was 6 minutes or less. Uh, they were all good, like they were good 6 minutes or less, pretty much. But they were all very short, very uh, all gas no brakes, which I appreciated. But that was a very specific style, couldn't really break out of. I feel like Rena was a bit more long winded. I feel like Hina was able to meet in the middle and produce matches that I really liked, and I routinely thought, yeah, this is really good. This is awesome. Like we should be doing this. Yeah, I was really happy with this match.
All
Definitely
right.
second best match of the night, obviously,
Yes.
for me. So yeah,
Okay. Afterwards was when I Sakura challenged Hanako. I was kind of surprised that they would do that, but then they're doing it in China on the crossover show, which has kind of gone under the radar because nobody really knows what to expect from that at all.
they got
Um,
they got Kushida versus Zack Sabre Jr., which will either be really good or really
yeah,
depending
they
on
do.
Zack's feeling.
Is this the only Stardom match? Have they announced the full card for that?
I think it's
Or
the only
is it
Stardom
just the two?
match. Or
Oh,
no. There's a tag. There's a tag with Tom and Jerry.
oh, fun. Okay, I didn't realize. I didn't know the card was out. Honestly, I hadn't seen much about it.
Okay, I don't know if that match is out. I know most of the card is out. Uh,
Right.
but
Okay.
I know they're on it.
Well, I
So
think they were on the poster, maybe. So,
yeah, and they already took off people who were on the poster and are not on the card.
all right.
Oh, wait. Oh, there's actually quite a few people on this poster. Um, Hate's gonna be there. Tom and Jerry's gonna be there.
Actually, that's why I asked, is the card up? Do you know this? You're the New Japan one here. So I was kind of hoping to lean on your shoulder there.
Let's see. No,
That's all right. Um, Either way, that'll be in China. They'll probably do a rematch because they will consider that not given away, you know. But also, if Hanako pins Aya or Kurara again, we can probably assume that they're most definitely
yes,
winning the tag
the card is up.
belts. All right. Okay. Is there anything interesting?
It's Rina Rock and Natsuko versus Cosmic Angels, which
Okay.
is Tom and Jerry and Carrara. Then it's Starlight Kid and Miyu versus Lady C and Ami Sore.
Hell yes.
That's good. That's a good match. Yeah. Those are the women's matches. And then obviously
Okay.
the feature.
That's fun. So we then get on to our main event. This was a World of Stardom and Strong Women's Double Championship match. Saya Kamitani beats Azumi in 23 minutes with a spinning Star Crusher to become double champion. Um, I thought this was a very good match, but I thought their GP match was more fun and interesting to me because Azumi
Yeah.
was much better in that one. I really question Azumi as a 20 plus minute wrestler. I just don't think she has it in her. Like Kamitani was doing all her usual Kamitani stuff, which usually works. And Azumi just I don't think had enough at the final stretch to kind of keep it going. So I thought their GP match was a lot better in terms of just Azumi rose to the occasion there. Whereas here I thought she was a little bit lacking.
Yeah.
I know I just called
I
your
don't know.
favorite a geek, but
I there's nothing I can really say here. Because ultimately it's like the first 10 minutes kind of sucked. Um, and the last 12 were awesome. Like they were very good.
Mhm.
There's still certain things I didn't like about it. Um, on the second half, but I thought it was a very good match. Obviously, it was the best match of the night. Um, I would agree that the match in Korakuen, or this was in Korakuen, the match in the 5 star was better. Uh, I didn't realize that that match was apparently 12 minutes, which is kind of insane. Like I feel like it was like 15, but who knew? Um, yeah, I don't know. I think I've again broken record here, but I feel like Saya Kamitani is not good in the first 10 minutes of any given title match.
Mhm.
And I didn't think like I can agree. I don't think Azumi was well equipped to close out this match. In a similar way, unfortunately, to Himeka back in the day. I think Himeka always had good stuff and good work, but at some point it just kind of like felt like the wheels fell off. Um, and I think that was kind of the vibe for the last few minutes of this with Azumi. Like I think there was I think you said it that like or maybe Scott did that it felt kind of like Azumi exhausted all of her moves at some point, and then
Mhm.
was like, "Oh shit, I just gotta grab an arm because there's still 4 or 5 more minutes left of the match." So she started doing limb work again. That Sai Kamitani, shocker, did not respect, um, and it just was complete. It just kind of like fell off the hinges a little bit there. Still thought the match was awesome. I think Azumi's awesome. I think if it wasn't for Azumi doing cool shit, I think the first 10 minutes would have actively like put me off because I thought Saya was like very much in pander mode for the
Mhm.
first while. It just felt like she was really just like going through the motions. She did the crowd stuff as she always does. If it wasn't for Azumi just slapping the fuck out of her and diving over the top rope, I do question how engaged I would have been going into the
Yeah.
second half of the match. Um, so Azumi did a lot of work in that regard, and I think Saya picked up the work on the other half. So I think that's where it worked. I thought the match was very good, and it worked because we had one wrestler doing actively very good in the first half, and one wrestler doing actively very good in the second half. But I don't have it as highly as some people, and I don't have it as highly as the 5 star match because it just wasn't both wrestlers doing great the entire time. Neither was the 5 star match. Don't get me wrong. I thought Saya also did kind of poorly the build up of that one, but I think that she was able to really, you know, uh, close the door on that match and this match very well. While Azumi,
Mhm.
not so much on this one.
Yeah.
So
My
I can
issues are
get where you're coming from.
like my issues are definitely with Azumi more than Saya. I mean,
Shocker.
This is the Saya we've praised and seen since she was white belt champion. There's no difference there. So I don't know. I just don't know if Azumi has it to be like a 20 plus minute wrestler. She just doesn't seem to know how to fill the time properly. I think if it wasn't for Kamatani just being kind of a monster in the finishing stretches, this would have been even less enjoyable. But as Sai Kamatani is a monster in the finishing stretches, so that it kind of kept it going. Um, and yeah, I mean, like people love this match, and that's cool. I think if it's one of your first times watching Stardom, I think I could definitely get it. This is definitely an eye popping style when you first see it. But just I think as people who have been watching it for a long time, we're both kind of used to the flow and the pace and stuff like that. So it's not going to hit as hard for us as it will for most people, but that's all right, you know. I was after this that Momo Watanabe challenged and challenged for both belts and will
To be
face Saya
fair,
Kamitani.
a little thing. I just want to say, Azumi and Momo was over 20 minutes. That was very good. I
Um,
I do, because like I was thinking about it, it's like there's no
oh, the
way that
GP final.
Azumi, yeah, the final. I was like, there's no
I
way
mean,
that Azumi just like
come on.
hasn't had a good 20+ minute singles. She has.
Yeah, but you
So
went
let's
to
make
like
that clear.
an insanely emotional match here. So,
Touche.
but yeah, we got Momo Watanabe challenging Saya Kamitani afterwards, and that sets us on the road to November, which gives us a clear goal because next month is a bit of a weird month for Stardom. They're kind of just not doing much. The roster is probably getting a bit of a rest, and they're just gonna hit up some small towns on the way. They're mostly filling with new bloods, they're gonna have to really ramp up that kind of Crimson Nightmare thing late on, I'd imagine. So giving people the main event 5 weeks in advance is probably a good way to make sure it sells well. But that was the Korakuen. It's the only show for us to review because we aren't going to hit on those house shows. We do have the one show to preview, which is New Blood 24. This is in the Bellsal Shinjuku South exit, which I don't know where that is. To be honest with you, I
It is
don't
so
remember.
funny that Waka and Hanako are on the poster and they're not there.
Yes, I don't think they knew that their champions would be in China when they announced it. But that's them's the breaks in wrestling. New Blood opens. It is New Blood 24. It's on October 4th, and it opens with Emma Mashima versus Kikyo Furusawa. Classmates,
Yes.
and
To the day.
obviously gonna be set up as long-term rivals. You're probably gonna have one of them win and go out ahead so that the other one can be like, arg, I want to catch up.
Yeah. I think Kikyo wins.
Yeah, Kikyo?
Yeah.
All right. See, I feel like she's been kind of pushed to the pre-shows a lot lately, so they might give Emma the win, but maybe they want Emma to be the sympathetic one.
Who knows? I was just saying the one I like more.
Okay, that's fair. I should have guessed you would be a Kikyo shooter. I like Kikyo too, in fairness. I think she's pretty cool. But anyway, we then get on to Yuria Hime versus Yuki Mashiro versus Fukigen Death. Absolutely no idea what to expect from this match. I mean, Yuki and Fukigen are like demons and do fast paced stuff, and then Yurihime is the leg drop wrestler. So I'm just like, how does any of this work? But I'm sure it'll be fun to just
Yeah.
see. You probably have Fukigen win. I don't think they would have Yuki Mashiro get a W. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe she challenges for the high speed title, draws, and then never appears again.
Yes, that would be her kind of idea, I
The
guess.
MO. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Um.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
Fukigen probably just. Uh, yeah, let's
Fukigen
say
is an
that.
artist champion, so
Hmm.
I respect
Mhm.
her. After that is Wakasukiyama and Rian versus Echika Miyabe and Riara of PPP Tokyo. So that is one partnership
Speaking
back
of,
from the dead.
yeah, I was gonna say, speaking of a wrestler who was last seen in Marigold, Riara also here.
Yes.
Not last seen. I know she's in PP Tokyo now, but yeah, yeah. That doesn't sound good. I won't be completely real.
Um. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think Echika is cool, and Riara
Yeah,
might be better outside of the Marigold environment. But yeah, I think Rian won't have an adequate playmate in this one, so might not be too good. You could probably have Echika and Riara win. They could pin Rian. Maybe set them up as potential tag challengers if you're going to keep this one going. I don't know.
but how new is Riara?
I don't know.
That's the thing about this
2 years maybe.
show, actually,
He
is
debuted
that it's
late
like
in Gan Pro when they were doing the women's division.
how I'm not sure how new blood this show is. Is my point.
It's a very interesting lineup, I won't lie
Because
to
like
you, but
Yuki
either
Mashiro
way.
can't challenge for anything.
No.
Like she's like 21 and she's been at it for a while.
Yes. I don't know. I just got here.
So
They just need to fill the cards. That's really it.
I get, yeah,
They do.
Riara's 2023, so she still has a few months.
Yeah, Riara and
Yeah.
Echika can like challenge V1 for Aya and Carrara, maybe. I think that'll be fine. Our next match is Hina versus Kyoka Kotatsu. This is a good chance for Kotatsu to prove herself. Probably a Hina win and just kind of her being like, hey, step up, kid. That'll be fun.
Yeah, God willing, this is a good match. If it's not, ooh, we have some bad news about Katatsu.
Yeah. This is probably the best match on the show. Zones and Soy versus Akira Kuragane and Bozilla. Dude,
Yep,
I love Soy. I'm sure I've said this a lot
you have.
before. Soy is awesome. Funny name, great jumpsuits, usually great hair, good wrestler
The
too.
opposite of
Uh,
great hair, I would argue.
no, it's you gotta have the meme hair. Calls her fan base Soy Boys.
Is
Just
this
in
real? Is
general.
this true?
Yes, very true. She
It's
tweets that
insane.
out. So honestly, I'm rooting for Soy here. I think Zones is going to be really fun opposite Bozilla. I think her best stuff is when she's just allowed to be a big hoss, and they should have probably leaned into that here. And then yeah, Kira Kurgane is going to be there probably to lose, but you know
Yeah, and I think Bozil might kill her. Uh,
maybe, maybe, maybe not. Cage match is broken, so I can't check. I think Zones is the Evolution champion,
she
but
is.
it's hard to check now because
She's
I
defending
googled.
against.
I googled Zones cage match and it has brought up Combat Zone Wrestling,
Yep,
BZW Weekend,
yep.
KCW Warzone, and Dragon
I
Gate
tried
Prime
looking up
Zone.
Riara. I tried looking up Riara, and it took me to. What the fuck did it take me to? Something crazy. It took me to GCW Chris Brooks versus Logan Easton LaRoe from
That is
2019.
terrorism.
That's
It's
that's
crazy.
that was the only cage match link when I looked up Riara
Crazy. Yeah, it's getting more
cage
broken
match.
by the
Yes.
day. It's kind of sad. But yeah, let's give Zones and Soy the win because Zones is a champion. So
Yeah, she's defending against Miku Kanai actually next month.
that is awesome. I love that. We then have a special singles match. Rani Agami beats Tai Hanma. Um,
Beats.
oh, sorry, she's facing Tai Hanma. Hanma is retiring, so she really should do the business for Yagami, but I don't think it will matter ultimately,
No.
so it's fine. It's a cool main event, though. They might lean into the stuff you tend to like, because Hanma
Yeah.
is a very technical wrestler, and Yagami, I think, can handle herself on the ground. So I think eyeballing it, this looked like a bad card, but I feel like if the opener delivers, the last three should deliver, and I think that's enough for a new blood. So
Yeah.
I'm talking myself into enjoying this one, you know. Um, but yeah, that's all I think for Stardom. I don't think there's much need to preview the um the crossover show. I mean, obviously Hanako is going to retain against Aya Sakura. I don't think we need to debate that. They're probably just doing that, and then they'll rerun it in Japan at a later date when Aya is closer to winning it. Um,
Yeah.
and maybe they challenge for the tag, but you know, she like officially challenges for the tag belts afterwards. I don't fully know. Um, but yeah, I'm just looking at the card now. It's something. But I think that's all for Stardom for this week. Unless we've totally forgot something, but I think we've hit on everything. We did Hanan and Saya, reviewed Korakuen, previewed New Blood. I think we're good. So
Luckily, people don't get too mad at us when we forget to talk about one thing for an hour
yeah, you know, it's
after
who
it
knows.
happens.
We go on then to Marigold. There's not a lot to talk about with Marigold, but they have confirmed another match for Sumo Hall, and they did have an unfortunate injury, which is where we're going to begin.
Like,
Uh, Koki was wrestling on the Zushi Pro Wrestling Festival or something, and she hurt her arm, and I think was like taken out to the hospital immediately, and it was confirmed that I think she broke her clavicle. You'd have to,
Yes.
yeah, um,
Fractured clavicle.
fractured her clavicle, and I think you were saying that's 8 weeks minimum. Could be a few
Yeah.
months if she has to get surgery. So that's her out of Sumo Hall entirely, which really ruins it because it did seem like Twin Tower were going to challenge for and probably win the Twin Stars. They
Yeah.
have moved Yuki Minami into a lot of her spots. So I think this really brings up the question of, are they going to pivot to Gochika and Minami and just go with them as champions? Or are they going to kick it down the line and put it on the Darkness Rev and have them be like 3 month heel champions for Twin Tower to beat in January or something? As Rossi doesn't tend to pivot, but it's the Twin Star. So you might as well just give them to Gochika and Minami, maybe.
I don't know. It's difficult because they're on a tag team that's not in his company. So it's
Yeah.
like there probably is some level of a hard out with Magenta. They probably need to drop the belts at Sumo Hall. Um, so yeah, but also and hey, maybe what they could do is they could have Go Chica and Yuki Minami win the belts and then drop them immediately to someone else because they don't think Yuki Minami's ready, or because of whatever reason it might be. If they just want, they want to open it up for Go Chica and Koki to win the tag belts once Koki gets back in a few months. Um, just like if they like, you can always just have that happen. But yeah, I'm not sure. I because like Rossi's been saying over and over again, uh, the card's pretty much set for Sumo Hall. Like he knows everything he wants to happen. Um, I imagine Twin Tower versus Magenta was on it. And so
Mm.
unless like Darkness Revolution really wasn't gonna do anything at all on that card, which is possible, I guess. Uh, I don't know who else can even fill that void, outside of just Go Chica and Yuki Minami.
Yeah.
So,
I think them moving Minami in intentionally is just kind of a sign that they might just
and
move with them
Go
too.
Chica did say that she's like, as much as I want to wait for you, I can't. I got to keep
Yeah.
going. So hopefully we get to, fulfill that destiny another time, sort of thing. So it is always possible
Yeah.
that she just keeps going, and her and Yuki win the belts.
It's a real
Or
shame for Koki as well, because like
yeah,
this
for sure.
Twin Tower is where she seems to fit most naturally. I mean, they had one tag together and it just all felt right. Like we both were like, this just feels proper for both of them. And I think they would have been very interesting Twin Star champions because Rossi actively wants to push them, whereas he doesn't want to push Magenta. So we could have seen the Twin Star belts go back to being a big feature on the Korakuens like they were when Nanai had them and when Mirai had them. Um, now if he pivots to Yuki Minami, I don't know if he trusts her on that level or like wants to
Yeah.
push her in the way he wants to push Koki. So I think the Twin Stars suffer a little bit as well because they would have gone from an act that he really likes to either a second choice or a pivot that he's not into. So I'm kind of intrigued by how they kind of reshuffle the deck here. But I do really feel for Koki.
Yeah. No, I do too.
Um,
It feels like this keeps happening, and it's just such a shame.
yeah,
It's not even like she's a like, I don't even think this would be injury prone. It's just she just keeps getting like, she has really bad luck. 'Cause these are her first two injuries, and they've just kind of happened at inopportune times
mm.
this year. So it's just kind of a shame. Yeah.
On better news though, Seri Yamaoka showed up on the last Sendai Girls show and challenged Chihiro Hashimoto to a match, and that was confirmed then for Sumo Hall. So they've actually gone a very interesting route with Seri. Her pay-per-view matches to date are Mirai, Iroha, and Hashimoto. I think she should challenge. I think she should face Sari at whatever their first dream show is, just to complete the set. But it's very interesting to see her get this like trial by fire of just taking on these like really well pushed, really grounded, really technical demons almost in her
Yeah.
first year. It's just like they're testing her against the best of the best. And it's kind of more interesting than if they just strapped the rocket to her. Um, and yeah, this is going to be a really great match. I mean, I love Chihiro Hashimoto, but I definitely love how she feels as an outsider. I mean, she works really well whenever she would invade Stardom. The Seri build was kind of awesome, and now you get to do that here with Seri, where she's just gonna absolutely destroy this girl on the ground and show that there's levels to this, and it's gonna be fascinating.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because last week, uh, when we were talking about Sanka versus Sari, I was like, I don't know, like I don't think I said this on there, but I was thinking about it, so nobody will believe me when I say this. But I was thinking about it, it's like I mean they thought her and Senko would have already happened, like that was the goal, and I think they're thinking a bit more long term with Sari, so I wouldn't be surprised if her and Sanka isn't on this card. Um, I was thinking, who else could it be? And I was like, I hope it's Hashimoto. But and like I was a joke. Like I made that as a joke. In a group chat. I was like, you can't get Senka, but you'll get Hashimoto. And I was right. It was crazy. I love being right. This is awesome. This is an awesome match. Sari's favorite wrestler basically is Chihiro Hashimoto. She is always like I've noticed how much like go on Instagram and check Chihiro Hashimoto's page. Every single thing is liked by Seri Yamaoka because she is obsessed with this wrestler. And I think it's so awesome she's getting the chance to face her. It's going to be a cool match, just stylistically. Sari's going to get eaten alive, but in a very interesting and unique way. And I'm super
Mhm.
excited to see it.
Yeah, and I think the best thing about this is that Marigold seems to have access to Sendai girls.
Yep.
And, I don't think he's going to use it that much, but even being able to ask for Hashimoto every now and again, or if he goes insane and asks for Dash, maybe, like, I think he has access to some cool talent there. Um, but yeah, that's going to be a great match. And, it's another chance for me to further my Seri should get her ass beat all the time agenda, because she's going to put on an elite display of selling in that one. Um, but yeah, no, that's really most of the Marigold news. I don't think we've missed anything. There was no show this
Oh,
past weekend.
we were right that Io was like, yeah, I want you to get Mayu.
Dude, how did I forget that? Over the past week, they announced IYO
Oh
SKY
shit!
versus
Oh shit!
Mayu
I
Iwatani.
thought we talked about last week. That's
We did
crazy. We
not.
almost went without saying.
We guessed it. We had guessed it, but we were so certain. But they made that official. They did it like really randomly. So on
Yeah.
Thursday, they were like, "We're gonna do an emergency news thing at like noon tomorrow," which is 4 a.m. for me. So I was like, "Hell no." Um, and then everybody was like, "Oh, is somebody else leaving? Are they like folding? What the fuck is happening?" And then Rossi was like, "Chill, guys. It's good news." And I was like, "All right, I think it's EO." And
Yeah.
yeah, I'm surprised they did it this way. I didn't think they would announce it right away. I thought they would announce EO and then have her announce the match at the Korakuen.
Mhm.
But instead they just said, "Hey, no, we're doing EO versus Mayu," and everybody was super happy.
Yeah. I mean, shit. It's crazy that we forgot. Like, to be fair, it happened 6 days ago now. Um, it happened literally like right after we recorded. They announced that there was going to be or the day after we recorded, they announced there's going to be an announcement. And I already recorded a thing with Scott and Xavier because they
Oh yes.
they counter programmed our weekly call, like I said. Um,
Wow.
but yeah, I mean, it's insane this is happening, man. Like I know
Yeah.
it's not. Like we've seen it coming the entire time, basically. I mean, Mayu first showed up in Marigold and was immediately asked, "So you want to wrestle Io, right?" And she's like, "Yeah, yeah, Io and Kyrie and Julia, but yeah, mainly Io." Um, so it's like obviously this was going to happen if all things went according to plan and to hopes, and it did. And I'm just amazed that we get to watch it. Like I
Yeah.
think that these two are wrestling out of their minds recently. Um, arguably at the peaks of their careers. Io, it's kind of a difficult way to gauge because she wrestles a different style in WWE, but she's still great in WWE. So it's like it's just apples and oranges sort of thing. Can still be compared, but it's a bit difficult. Um, but yeah, I just think it's kind of insane, and I'm super excited for it. And like I'm just when I watched it, I was just giddy. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
was just like,
No,
oh,
I mean
it's awesome.
it's that tier of match because like I think their old matches were cool, obviously, but Mayu is such a different person and different wrestler that
Mhm.
it's almost like a new match because the Mayu in 2026 is not the Mayu who used to face Io, you know, and Io's going to be the same. We saw with the Utami match. She has that speed on lock. Like she will just go straight back into being Io Shirai. But Mayu is not the Mayu who faced her years ago. And that's what really fascinates me is like they were already great,
Mhm.
but now Mayu is on a whole nother level and an entirely different wrestler. What the hell are they going to be capable of now? And it's going to be insane. And it's probably going to main event. I feel like you have to main event
It's
with
difficult.
those two.
It's difficult because I do wonder if they would want Io to close the show
I don't see why not.
with the
These
win.
are
Um,
I don't think Rossi ever sets up Marigold if he doesn't have this match in his mind's eye. This is his
this is the
like
match.
this is his retirement party. Like
Dude,
this is
he
his
tweeted about it,
Cody
and it
winning the
sounded
belt.
like he was crying. Like
Yeah,
he was like
this is
I'm
it.
so overwhelmed with emotions. This is the like he was just like fucking tweeting through it.
Yeah. This is the
He was having
season
a great
finale
time.
of wrestling to Rossi
Yeah,
Ogawa. Like it's done. So I
this is
could
all he
definitely see
needs.
them
Yeah,
going on last and him just
and
being
hey,
like, "This is
I
it."
think there is a certain there's an argument to be made that Utami does her best work in the semi main event. Uh,
Yeah.
so it could make that even better in a way. I think I think it'll be Mayu and Io in the semi main ultimately. I think that's just kind of how it works. But I think it's just so cool that it's happening. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I'm just excited. I'm excited. I'm excited that this means that EO is willing to come around every year seemingly.
Mm.
Uh, at least for a while. Um, and yeah, I'm happy for Mayu, happy for EO, I'm happy
Yeah.
for Rossi ultimately. I'm happy for me as a wrestling fan. Happy for
Yeah.
everybody that appreciates it. I think it's really, really cool.
Okay. Um, and then yeah, there's no show to review, so we will just preview the one upcoming house show for Marigold. Marigold Battleheart. It's in Tochigi on the 4th of October. We open with Nao Ishikawa versus Hummingbird. Um, sure, Nao Ishikawa.
Again,
I don't know. We're kind of hitting repetitive territory here, not to say the
well,
least.
Koki got hurt, and that's why this match is happening.
All right, that's fair, I guess. Megaton versus Rhea Seto. Oh boy, Rhea Seto.
Oh, that was bad. That
Yeah,
happened before. That was really
yeah, it
bad.
was pretty shit. Hey, Rhea Seto was wrestling twice, I guess, unless this is a mistake.
It might have changed
Um,
already.
yeah, I don't know. This is on the Marigold website, so I'm only going off what I have. It is Nagisa Tachibana, Yuki Minami, and Kazuna Tanaka versus Nagisa Nozaki, Isa Matsui, and Rhea Seto. So either this is wrong or they've mixed up Chiaki and Rhea because Chiaki
Probably,
isn't on the show at all. So
maybe.
um, I guess one of them must have made a mistake. It's probably Chiaki in this tag, and unless Rhea is just wrestling twice, I don't know. But at least Tajibana is back, so that's cool.
Nice.
The heels are winning because that is a geek squad of a babyface team, to say the least.
Wait, yeah, this is just Chiaki, right? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't
On
know.
Twitter, it's Chiaki.
Oh, really? Okay, so yeah,
Yes.
Twitter's probably
Gotcha.
right. Um, we then have Mirai and Yuki Yamazaki versus Seri Yamaoka and Komomo Minami. That's a fun one. Mirai probably pins Minami. She's probably going out winning.
Yeah, I don't see why not. Ultimately,
The main event then is a double preview. It is Mikure Ono, Mayu Iwatani, and Victoria Yuzuki versus Utami Hayashishita, Mai Sakurai, and Chika Goto.
oh, okay. So sorry, I see what happened. Koki and Chiaki were supposed to have a singles, uh, and so Kouki getting taken out, swapped Chiaki with Rhea, and Rhea with it was the whole thing.
All right.
Yeah, cool preview. Very cool
Mhm.
preview. Reigniting Gochika versus Yuzuki,
Hell
rivalry
yeah.
of year one. And then yeah, I mean, uh,
Chica staring at the lights.
yes, and yeah, Mayu and Chika as well. Also a rivalry from recently.
Yeah.
So I think it's a cool match. I'm excited for that.
Okay. And that's all for the Marigold.
Yep.
They don't run again until the 11th, and then they're doing the Korakuen on the 13th. So we'll lock back in next week for them. Yeah, we knew we would go a little bit short, so we did ask for questions for a Q&A. Dylan, you said you had some questions sent anonymous, so do you want to get those out of the way?
It was actually by anonymous, like the guy
Oh,
with the
by anonymous.
guy
All right.
the Guy
Okay.
Fox mask or whatever.
For sure.
Question one: how long does Stardom have until they need to make a second star besides Saya Kamitani? Um,
That's crazy. What?
I think this is why you want to be anonymous.
Did
Um,
I hear that right? They have a second star. They have
who's
three,
the second star?
technically. I think Starlight Kid is a draw for them.
I think this is a valid question though, because I was kind of thinking about like that was kind of what I was getting at earlier. Uh, is that it's like I wonder how much that like if
Well,
God
actually, I lie.
forbid
They have Micah. I know Micah is injured, but I think they see Micah
if
as out.
God forbid Sai Kamatani hurt her arm tomorrow, like
Mhm.
how do they survive? I
I
don't
think
think
Kid
that
is popular enough. I think
I
they've really established Starlight Kid.
I don't know if that's true.
Well,
Has his kid been the focal point of any show
there
like
was the
this
one
year?
Korakuen just after Yokohama Arena where she mained with Hanako.
And
I
that
think
wasn't
it did well
good.
enough. I think it did a good number though.
I think it did like just over 1,000. Or I think you're right. But
Yeah, so I think Kid is to an extent a second star, but I do think Micah's it. I do. I think once Micah comes back, we'll see her
well, the question was
positioned
how
as.
long do they have before they like need to
Oh,
raise the have
genuinely,
the tides raise everybody
like
else
18
other than Saya.
months. Well, no, like, if you're asking how long can they ride the wave of Saya without
Yeah,
building
I think
another
that's the
star?
point. Yeah,
Okay, well, you can get 18 months more. I mean, Roman Reigns alone was a bubble for like 2 years. Saya, I think, has a long time left in the tank by that.
now I don't
Standpoint.
want to be disrespectful to WWE fans, but I question if that would work in Stardom, if a Roman
Um,
Reigns-esque bubble. I also don't know if Sai Kamitani is Roman-esque in the same way.
well, no, but he's our only example of like how long you can really run off of one person, and
And with
he
yeah,
he kind of stopped being an impact towards the end, like just before losing to Cody. So I think he had 2 years of being a difference maker. I think Saya is like 7 months in to being that. So I think she has. I think they have like 15-ish more months to build a second star.
I think they have a year.
That's basically the same. That's like 3 months less.
Uh, okay, no, I would say they have realistically. I think they have until next, like a year from December. So yeah, around what you're saying. But
Okay.
I think if there is no signs of real like progress on that front by the spring, I think we could be looking at trouble ultimately.
Okay.
Because like
Well.
in your example, Cody challenged for the first time a year before Roman's star started going out.
Mhm.
So it's like you need a Cody a year before, maybe not literally a year before, but you need that light at the end of the tunnel a decent portion before, uh, like Saya actually
Yeah.
can
No, I agree.
be out of the spotlight. So I mean, we've been talking about Natsupoi being that. It's
Yeah.
possible Micah's that, but I do think they're going to need to like put a bit more effort into Saya as a heel and put a bit more effort into making these rivalries like something. Because the Micah rivalry is something, but it's also like
It's
it's
hard to judge Micah because she's been missing
exactly
for their hot period. Um,
exactly. So it's like we don't know
but
if
before
Micah
that,
versus Saya
she
is
seems to
a
be doing good on top. So
eh,
I don't know.
bit
What's the
more.
next question anyway?
Um, Similarly, who faces Kamitani at Dream Queendom? I think it's probably um. If you saw her at the CML, did you?
Yeah, I saw that CML thing.
If you saw her at the CMLL thing, she looks healthy. Like her arm
Mm,
looks better. She's in
yeah.
gear. It doesn't look like she seems like she has full range of motion. So I think we are just kind of counting down the months, and I wouldn't be surprised if she kind of made a comeback. Not for like I imagine she won't be in Tag League, but I can see her make a comeback in anticipation for the the Dream Queendom show and lose to Saya, since obviously Momo is not that. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree
Wait,
with
did we even talk about
Micah.
that Momo officially challenged?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, I might have just kind of
We blanked it
spaced
probably.
out. I spaced out, yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. I think Micah, they're just waiting on Micah, and if not, they might run a Natsupoi rematch. Because I think you can get more mileage out of the Natsupoi thing. But I think they probably at this point are hoping Micah is healthy because she is in their eyes the top baby face. So
Okay, and then
yeah,
we have two Marigold questions. We had two Stardom, two Marigold.
love it.
Um, who has the brightest future, Victoria Yuzuki or Seri Yamaoka?
We kind of have a similar question from the Discord, so we
Okay,
might
we can
might
talk about
leave
that
that.
later then.
Yeah.
And then, and this is for me, obviously, because talked about this last week, or on this is I talked about on Scott's show rather. Um, if you could book Thunder Rock next year for their first tag match, what would it be?
Well, I would sign FWC, and I would let Io and Koguma do some mind
That would
blowing
be
shit.
ideal.
Yeah,
Um, it'd
I
be
think that's
funny
it.
if Io and Mayu went to we have it, and they did the same gimmick next year, where he was like, actually, they asked for us like a year ago. Obviously FWC, but I think on the roster, it's gotta be Shimai Tag. It's gotta be Utami Izuki. I feel like as much as
Mm.
it's a redo of matches, it's not a fresh one. I still think it just works. I
I
think
would.
it's
I disagree. I think you might do Seri Yuzuki. I think you go all youth versus Thunder
maybe
Rock. That or Minami. Yuzuki is a definite, but I think it's either Seri or Minami that I would put.
Sari is a big EO fan, so I wouldn't be
Yeah,
surprised if she was like
they might do it.
clamoring to get that match. Um,
Mm.
I don't know, but I also know Utami is also clamoring to get that match. So she was like, "I want to face Thunder Rock too. I want to tag with EO. I want to face just a bunch of stuff." So yeah, I would say for me, Shimai tag.
Mm.
If we could look to like potential, I would say FWC, but we'll see with that because you never know. But yeah, those
Okay.
are the questions.
So from the Discord we had, how do you think a Stardom Tokyo Dome card would have to shape up? Would they have to run Saya versus Sari or Kid versus Rina and that kind of thing?
They would have to run
Um,
Saya versus Tam Nakano.
yeah, so I've been pretty insistent that Tam will wrestle again. They will do the Nagayo Dream Slam thing where like they're running their biggest show ever, so they'll say, "Hey, can you come out of retirement?" So I think Saya would either wrestle Tam on that, or I'm asking Marigold very nicely for Utami because I think Saya versus Utami is still a pretty major match to run.
Mm,
And I think there'd be a big kind of buzz around the two promotions colliding like that. I think Saya versus Utami would have to happen. If not Saya versus Tam, but Tam is on there in some form. And you
yes.
probably do have a big Starlight Kid match. I think, I really believe in Starlight Kid as a star. I think Starlight Kid, uh, well, she's already been white belt champion, but like maybe challenging for the IWGP women's title would be a pretty big one. And then Micah probably faces some form of hate in like a stipulation match, maybe. And you definitely have to pull out all the stops though. You would need Tam. You would need like all your big stars and big matches and stipulations. And
You'd
you put
probably
in an
bring in.
undercard with a bunch of like outsiders.
I don't think she's a proven draw, but they'd probably bring in like a Tony Storm too, just to kind of
Maybe her or
be.
Monet.
Yeah. Um, Again, I don't think either of them are giant stars or giant draws in Japan, but I mean, if they, it depends on when they run the Tokyo Dome. Like if they were running
Yeah.
it in early December or something, you'd want to have an international star on there
Mm.
because you might be able to get a handful of people who came in early for, because obviously they're not going to run it January for 5th. You know what I mean? Maybe
I've always thought they
that would
should.
be
I
interesting.
legitimately think
Actually,
they should do a
I
weekender.
could see them doing a weekender with
Yeah,
New Japan.
I think they should.
Yeah, if you do that, you would want to get like a a Mercedes Monet on, because
Yeah.
there are a lot of international fans coming in. Yeah, I think Utami and Sai would obviously be like the biggest for fans of Stardom, over the past 5 years. But I think Tam would be a big shout. This is kind of where I think that other question about making stars that aren't Saya Kamitani comes in. I don't know if you can do a Tokyo Dome off the back of Saya Kamitani. Um, I think there needs to be proven strength in your additional four top wrestlers
Yeah.
in their drawing ability and your company's drawing ability overall to hit a decent marker there. Which I do think they would be able to because it would also be novel. Like that's another part of it.
Hmm.
I currently, hot take, I have no desire to like fly out to Japan solely to see a Stardom show right now. Like that's just not something I would do because I don't have the money for one, but also just because it's like just for that, like that's not something that I just like have the you know the foresight, the desire to do.
Yeah.
However, if they were like, hey, we're doing a Tokyo Dome show, first ever Joshi Tokyo Dome show in decades, I'd be like, shit, I should probably figure out how to get to that. You know what I mean? Like there
Yeah.
is a novelty to it, but I think you need a lot of that, for it to be successful. So
Yeah. I think
it's
you could do
difficult.
it though, for sure.
I think they could do it. I think they probably should do it because, like we said, uh, unless they really, well, like I said, unless they really put a lot of effort into the rest of the card and the rest of the roster, being able to match Sai Kamitani, uh,
Mm.
they probably want to run it within like the next 9 months because if they don't, I worry that they will be
But
catching
is it
it.
next year? No, next year isn't one of the anniversaries, is it? No, not of.
It's
Sorry,
15,
Big
isn't it?
Egg. No,
Oh no,
Stardom's
Big Egg,
15th,
no.
but not for Big Egg. Yeah, I mean, Stardom running it 15th year would be cool, but we'll have to
They could
see.
do it in
Um,
November, like to be like, oh yeah, this is the
yeah,
same
that'd be awesome.
Big Egg.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I think would have to do a lot of the stuff I was kind of putting
I
forward.
think I think they have to really like put a lot of effort into non-Saya wrestlers, or else I think next November would be kind of like the last time they could do it. Because
Yeah.
if they just keep trugging along this train the same way they've been going, um, I I I think that they would need to do it by next November. Um,
Okay.
if they want to like sell it off the back of Saya Kamitani, like I said, they probably shouldn't.
Um, let's see. Our next question: what stories in Stardom do you think could be moved up from the undercard? Uh,
Wait, what
I know.
was that?
I
Sorry.
know. What stories in Stardom do you think could be moved up from the undercard? So like, kind of made into important things. It's kind of difficult because I don't really get
The
many undercard
easiest
stories.
example is Hina, like kind of like treating
Yeah,
herself like
Hina,
she's the
Hina big
ace.
leaguing people a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like her being like, you know what? I big leagued all the fucking future. I could big league you fuckers too. Like if she got really like
mm,
big for her boots, I think that could be a really interesting story they
yeah.
can run.
I mean, if
Um,
if you're open to outsiders, I think Aya Chi Chi should be something that would
Mm.
I would run that for like the white belt sometime. I think I would move that up. Otherwise, I think it's difficult because even like Akira and Yuria have kind of gone their separate ways to an extent. Like they don't seem to be as locked into a feud anymore. Maybe you have some start when Ane and Matoi come back, and they can be like, "Hey, who are you, new fuckers? Like, we were here. What's happening?"
I
Um,
think I think Sarah, they fucked up the high speed belt so bad is the problem.
yeah,
Because it's like I think there is a world where Sarah has a normal high speed run this past year and
mhm,
is able to challenge Kid for the white belt off of the back of
yeah,
being like, I'm a much better singles champion than you because I've been doing this fucking like a fucking crazy person for basically 2.5 years straight outside of that like 2 month span that she didn't have the belt. Like that is a story that they could have told, but I don't think they can because Sarah has like negative momentum as high speed champion. Um, yeah, I think mainly Hina. I think that's my main
okay.
thing.
Um, let's see. What do you think the timeline is on the various ticking time bombs in Hate? The rise of Hina, the inevitable Saya turn,
Mm,
and
yeah.
I'm gonna say with and Momo swinging the bat.
Hmm.
Rina, I think, is something in the next year to look out for. I think Hanan is most likely the next Wonder of Stardom champion, and I feel like her to Rina is a very easy lineage. So I would say Rina, I'm looking the next 12-ish months.
Yeah.
Um, Momo swinging the bat, if that doesn't happen in the next 6, it's just gonna happen at some random point in the future.
If that
Like,
doesn't happen in the next 3, I think she's just gonna retire the way that
yeah,
she is. Like, I think this is just the this is the end of her character progression. I think she just
yeah.
finishes up as this in the next couple years. Um,
Probably. And then the inevitable Saya turn, I think we're probably a year or two away from Saya turning. I feel like they're gonna squeeze every drop out of the heel part as they can before turning her. Kind of like Rhea Ripley, like she was a heel for a while,
yeah.
and then they kind of naturally transitioned it to a baby face. So I feel like you have a long time to kind of keep squeezing the orange there.
Yeah, I would agree. Because yeah, I agree on all fronts except for the mum one. I don't think we have that much time. I think 6 months is being generous.
Wow.
Because like if she like really if this whole Saya thing begins and ends and moves on without even like a sense of like I need to change. So
Yeah.
I guess 6 months is fair if you want to give time after that, but I don't know, usually the beginning of the year is pretty quiet for Stardom, so I have a hard time believing that like such a monumental shift would happen just kind of randomly post Queendom, but also I don't know
Yeah.
when else it would happen. So I don't know. Like I think I would agree on all of them ultimately
Okay.
because if she doesn't in the next 6 months, it's just fucking it's hopeless.
Yeah, pretty much. Top picks for Goddess League. Um, it's kind of difficult because
My
Ami
top
and
pick
C
is yeah,
were
they're losing.
yeah, they're gonna lose as V1, so I doubt they would win
Mm,
tag league then. And I don't really know anybody else that is directly feuding with Rocca and Tora, unless I'm like really forgetting somebody, you know. Um, m- Maybe do an all hate thing and like Rena wins tag league, but then you might be giving a bit too much to Rena in a single year in
mm.
that one. So yeah, like I don't have a clear choice for Goddess League yet. I don't think they've made it clear. Like maybe it's Tom and Jerry. Maybe that's just it. But I don't think they would put the. I don't think they really. I feel like both of them are kind of beyond the tag belts at this stage almost. So Ano and Poi would be the obvious pick to me to feud with Hate. Um, yeah. Otherwise, it's kind of difficult. I don't really see any natural Rocka or Cora beefs that they need to sell.
Micah, but she's
Yeah,
uh,
I wouldn't have her there either.
she's hurt or elsewhere. Um,
It's a difficult question. I feel like it will become clearer towards Tag League, kind of like last year where they did the
The
angle
big
with
question for
Gory.
me is what's happening with Suzu injury
Yeah,
wise.
that's a good point.
Um,
Kind of.
because like I could see her and Bose winning the tag league.
Mm,
Because they are strong enough, obviously, to win it, but they also aren't like doing anything actively. Uh,
yeah.
but otherwise, it's like if they want to randomly decide to care about FW again, that'd be
Or
cool.
O2
It
Line,
would
maybe O2 Line. They have given
0 line
Azumi
would
some
make
big things
sense.
this year. Maybe O2 Line. I could see it.
0 line's a good
Azumi's
shot.
had some big spots.
0 line would be a good shot.
Currently getting Rex for Yukina Uehara, so thank you to the people in the Discord because
She's not a wrestler, man.
she is and she's a beast. Um. Anyway, so yeah, those are your picks.
Yeah,
And my
I would say if she's healthy, Bozilla and Suzu. If she's not,
Mhm.
then 0 line's like the obvious.
Should they run another Triangle Derby? Yeah, sure.
I'll see why not.
I
I
didn't
liked it.
understand why people hated Triangle Derby. It was like a house show thing to sell tickets, and the final and semifinals produced some cool matches.
The
That's
final
really odd.
sh the final of 2023 was, like, the best show of the year.
Yeah,
Like, it was, like,
and
one of the best yeah, it
the
was great.
semifinal matches were
That
awesome.
was
So
Suzuki Saya. Um,
yes,
that's how they made that match was Suzuki beat Saya in the derby. Yeah, I
yeah,
like the Triangle Derby.
yeah.
I think how long did it last in 2023? I think it lasted, like,
It was
uh
like 2 months.
yeah, I think that was a bit too
It was
long.
it was definitely done badly because they were trying to build Yokohama Arena, the Cinderella, and that
Yes.
at the same
Yes.
time. But
So
yeah,
I think just, like, conceptually, and I've always been a fan of the idea of, like, doing a double tournament, just do a single
mm,
elimination doubleheader or two shows, back to back a weekend,
yeah,
um, 2 or 3 shows, and just do it like that, or over a couple weeks, just doing a kind of triangle derby. You don't need to get every single team in there, um, or you can. It doesn't really matter. I like triangle derby, so they should bring it back. Like I said, they don't do anything anyway in the first couple months of the year. It's like why?
yeah. I getcha. Um, see. Next question is all right. This is a fun one. Of the three sisters' future title reigns, what was your favorite defense in each one, and which of those three is the best match?
Gonna have to make me do some research. Hold on a second.
Yeah. I find this difficult, obviously, because cage matches where it is now. I think Hina versus Hanako is legitimately my favorite from Hina's reign. Now that might be insane, Dylan, but I think that was my
Uh,
favorite.
See, I liked all of them. That's the problem. I think her match with Rian was my favorite, actually,
Really?
at the
Hmm.
conversion.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. I just thought the Hanako one just brought out the best in Hanako. It was great. Um, yeah, I don't hate it. Um,
Like I
for
said, I think
Rita,
I think I think all of the matches were good ultimately.
yeah, Rina is definitely more difficult because she has so many, and it was over so long. Like, I feel like her and Aya had that cool one. Um, but I would also maybe say the Miyamasaki uh challenge because they had two. There was two Miyu matches. I think the one where Miyu didn't win it was really good.
I hate that I believe we're going to be agreeing on all this because I'm
Um,
I'm looking through my match guides, and that's difficult because I do them yearly, obviously. So I
yeah.
have to go through like when did Rena start her uh, fucking defense,
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
because she started in that year. Yeah, I wait. That's actually crazy. Hold on. Might be Rena. No, it wouldn't be Rina Azusa. Rina Azusa was a good shout though. It was quite
Mm,
good. Yeah, I think it is Rina Miyamasaki.
okay. For Hanan, I have a real affinity for the Rocca sprint. I feel like Rocca just looked so good in that one when Hanan won the belt. They just had like put in such a shift to make Hanan look like an absolute star. So I feel like most people will go the Inaba draw, but I just feel like the Rocca Hanan one. I just enjoyed fundamentally what they were trying to do so much.
That was in 2022. Holy shit, it's been a while. 3 years? God damn.
Mm.
Um, let's see. Sorry, this is not great audio. No. Oh, right. Her and Tomoka.
Yeah, no, that's I think most people would pick that.
Yeah.
Is that your favorite then of the three? Because that was the last part of the question. Which match is the best of the three?
See, the problem is I have them all rated exactly the same.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I think it would be Hana Tomoka would be my
Yeah,
favorite.
I think Hanan's would be mine as well. I just feel like she was just doing everything you could ask of a future champion. Like her stuff was just it was like 5 minutes. They did everything they needed. Didn't overstay their welcome. She looked great. Her opponent looked great. Crowd got into it. Everything was just really well done. So
I think Hina's reign was probably my favorite of the three. Looking at these ratings I have,
yeah,
consistently, because there were a match or two in both Hanan and Rina's reigns that I just kind of felt like didn't work. I feel like Hina has forcefully made every match work at least to a certain degree. Um, like she has such a high floor
yeah,
on her reign. Um, and like I said, the heights were pretty much all the same for me. So yeah,
okay,
I think of the matches, ultimately Hanan and Tomoka was probably the best, but of
yeah.
the reigns, I think I like Hina's the most.
All right. Let's see. Since it doesn't seem to be happening this year, should Marigold eventually implement a tag league, and if so, when?
They
I
should do a
mean,
tag team tournament. I
yeah,
don't
they
think
should
they
have it
need
this
a
year.
league, but I think they should do a tournament.
Yeah, I think they should be doing a tag tournament this year. I think I pitched this to you privately. They have so many undercard wrestlers not really doing
Oh yeah,
much.
I really like this idea.
You should have a top star randomly draw a mid carder or undercarder and team with them and just go from there. You can just I think that would
You could do
be
random
very
or you
fun.
could do non-random. Like, because
Yeah,
I
even if you
love the
wanted to have to
idea.
pick or like compete for who gets picked, I think that'd be fun.
Like, and I think that could lead to a cool tag championship team.
Yeah,
If it was like more random, because I'm thinking about it's like I could see Utami picking Seri and
yeah.
them being like, oh fuck, like we aren't like homies. In fact, we're rivals more or less, but we're just gonna beat the fuck out of everybody. Like I think that's a cool because obviously it would be Utami and Yuzuki more than likely. If it was just like character wise who relates who's more connected. But yeah, I actually really like that idea because you did mention that once upon a time. That's like having the Rooks team up with their kind of older counterparts, so to speak. You can get Shino and Mai Sakurai in there.
Mm,
Would be cool. For poor Yuka, her older counterpart is leaving, but
yeah,
yeah, I think that'd be cool. I think they should do a tag tournament. I
yeah.
get not want to do a tag league because it does take up a lot of time, and it takes up a lot. And if it just doesn't really click, then you're wasting like a month, like an entire month, or 2 whole months of a tournament that just
I
doesn't
would
isn't
disagree.
there.
I think their schedule is geared towards doing very little coming out of Sumo Hall. I feel like there's nothing to lose by running a 2 or 3 week tag league.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't. It's not happening this year because they have the uh, dates all set up, and that's not what the tour is. Unless they do like a legitimately like 4 day tournament,
Mm,
over that they just kind of randomly throw in there. I think they should do a tag league to begin next year. Like
yeah.
I think February is a perfect time for them to run a tag league, for example.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe change things up, do it in the spring for sure.
yeah, because I mean, it's not like again, nothing happens in Joshi in the late winter, early spring. Ultimately,
Mm,
like it just doesn't. So yeah, doing it in like February would probably be cool. But I think they can do like a big tag tournament, or they can do a tag league. I'm cool with either. I think I wouldn't be surprised if they did a tag tournament instead.
yeah.
Uh, because there's probably a reason why he hasn't done a tag league. He probably was just like, I don't really want to do a tag league.
I feel like he
So
took 2 years to start one in Stardom as well. I think it was
that's
2013
true.
before
That's
they did
true.
one there.
Yeah,
So, well,
maybe
but
they should.
sh- should Stardom test the Western market more next year from a business standpoint? And how much do you think would
No,
it help them achieve their huge goals, like a dome show? Would it realistically be worth it? I think New
no.
Japan proved it's just not. You know,
I
I
mean,
feel
like, I
like
think it would be cool. I think it could like be beneficial in small ways, but it's not like when you
yeah.
say from a business perspective, it's not.
Mm.
There's minimal
There's
reason
just
to
no appetite
do it.
anymore. I feel like there used to be a landscape where people would have gone to Stardom and like really flocked to Stardom, but I think now with AEW's existence, it would just be, well, just sign this wrestler I like for AEW. You know, I
Yeah,
think
the
that's
issue is,
legitimately the world we live in. I think
yeah,
New Japan learned the hard way that expanding to America means your talent is primed to get stolen. And so I think America, like Stardom running America more, would maybe just lead to more temptation for a big company to sign away somebody like Saya Kamitani. I already saw AEW fans being like, "Hey, we should get Saya on a dual contract." Like she hadn't even been in America yet. Like they just
yeah,
saw
she hasn't wrestled in
one
America in years.
hyped match on YouTube and they went, "Yeah, we should like AEW should get her on a dual contract." So if Stardom is over in America running shows and Saya is there more often, that fan base is more likely to be like, "Well, Tony, you should get her on shows." As we all know, Tony's a bit of a wimp. He will succumb to the online pressure eventually. So I think it would just hurt because I don't think fans have that appetite for an alternative anymore. I think sure they'd go to a Stardom show if it was on like All In Weekend or something, but
Yeah,
I don't see them going to Japan en masse unless it's in January. I think most of them would just go anyway because they're there for Wrestle Kingdom and they recognize Stardom as a name. I don't think running America more would really benefit it in the current landscape.
no, I agree. Because ultimately, I don't think generally it's a great tactic for a company like Stardom. Um, the correct tactic was what they did in 2018, where they loaned them over to Ring of Honor for a couple tours and
Mm,
got the handful of people who were interested, like me, like plenty of people, um, to kind of like jump over and start watching Stardom. But I don't think that exists anymore. Um,
mm.
like if Shimmer was up and running, I would say like, yeah, sure, go run, like go co-promote a couple shows a year with Shimmer. Like that would be, but Stardom either running shows on their own in America or like aggressively becoming improving or increasing their partnership with AEW would both probably be poor ideas um
Yeah.
at the current standpoint. Cuz like I do get the like, oh, you want them to be more visible in America. Like that makes sense. And like I said, I think the Ring of Honor deal once upon a time was like perfect for Stardom at that time.
Mhm.
Um I just don't think that's where we're at.
Yeah. No, I don't think the appetite is there for alternatives anymore. People are just like, gimme, sign to the company I watch. Um, that's kind of just how it would end. You would just have people fiending for Saya to get poached, you know? Um, let's see. Oh yeah, so this is the one that was kind of similar to the one you had. Rank the young Marigold core, both by who you think will be more valuable in the long term. Sorry, no. Rank the young Marigold core by who you think will be more valuable to Marigold in the long term, both by kayfabe achievements and usefulness within the company. It is Seri, Mizuki, Yuka, Tomomo, Rhea, Shino, Kizuna, Yuki Minami, and Nagisa Tachibana. So kind of that group. So I have a thing here to keep track of it because there's a lot of
It's
names.
plenty of people, yeah.
So
Um
I don't know if you want to go first or if you need time to think.
Well, see, yeah, I need a little bit of time to think, but I'm looking at it. It is a bit difficult because kayfabe achievements and value versatility are very different.
Well, yeah, but you're merging the two.
Yeah, I know. But like I'm like my point is that it's like I could see Yuki Yamazaki being the greatest version of Jungle Kiona,
Yeah.
but one of those things, like like Jungle Kiona has one of those things. You know, I mean, like that's kind of my point. Um, you can start.
Yeah, so in last place, I have Nagisa Tachibana. Um, I think she's
Oh,
good.
she's not even here.
Yeah, no, they added it after.
Oh,
She's not. It's okay. No, sorry, she is good, but she's here as part of like an idol agency agreement. She may or may not be like a full time dedicated pro wrestler, and I think she's just behind the curve. So I think there's a chance that she isn't even a wrestler long term. Like she might just be doing this for money for a few years and then moves on. You know, like we've seen that with kind of idols. That's how they think. They're like, "Oh, I'm 28 now. I have to retire and like live a sheltered life." Um, so I just think Tachibana is like the least likely for them to ever get behind unless she commits full time to pro wrestling.
um, I would disagree. I would say because I imagine this is who you have next. I would have Yuki and then Tachibana.
Okay.
Because I think Tachibana displays a more. This sounds mean. A more teachable wrestler in wrestling ability.
Mm,
Um, I think there's like proof that she's this, for better or for worse, not afraid to get hurt.
yeah.
Uh, she is really like about that life sort of thing. I'm not saying Yuki Minami isn't, but I would say for the same reasons that you have Tachibana last, I have Yuki last. Um,
Yeah.
you know,
To be
I think,
honest, I think they're interchangeable. I think both of them
yeah,
have a very up in the air future, but I would put Minami above her just because I think she's already established as like a babyface in a tag team that realistically would challenge for Twin Stars. Whereas Tachibana is still just floating in the ether.
that's fair. I don't know. I think long term, I think Tachibana. I could see Tachibana if like shit goes kind of crazy. Like I don't expect this to happen necessarily. I could see Tachibana win a white belt if she makes well enough strides
Wow,
and does commit. Like
it's
I don't think
crazy.
it'll happen, but I would be much less surprised if she did it than if Yuki did it.
Okay. N- Third from the bottom, I have Kazuna Tanaka. I just
I do
don't
too, unfortunately.
trust long term her back. I don't know if she's gonna hold up fully. And also, I feel like she's been here for almost a year, and they just never
Over a year.
seem to pull the trigger on it. They keep saying that they're ready to do it and they like her, and Rossi's always tweeting about it, and then she's just back to being nothing, you know? So I just don't get the sense that they see much in Kazuna right now, and her back makes me wonder how long she'll even do this. So yeah, I think Kazuna third from the bottom. Not for a lack of trying. You know, she is a good wrestler, but just don't see it.
Yeah, I have. Mm, Okay, so I have. How about can I do my entire list actually?
Sure.
Because I kind of have them on tiers.
Oh lord.
Because I'm no, because I'm realizing I have two basically on the same level, two basically on the same level, two basically on the same level, three. Like that's ultimately, like you know what I mean, like kind of are interchangeable. So I have Tachibana and Yuki. I had to have Tachibana over Yuki, but you know. Then I have Kazuna and Komama. Um, I don't expect either of them to win the white belt, um, or the red belt, obviously. Uh, Kazuna can, Komama can. I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility. Similarly, I think Tachibana in a fucking crazy world could. She won't, but it's not insane. Uh, Similarly, like I think Kazuma could, but probably wouldn't. Um, Ultimately, I think Komomo has the benefit of being kind of like a Mayu girl ultimately, and having that kind of rub from Mayu and from a lot of the roster that if someone just unlocks, I think they'll be really willing to at least push her to be a high speed stalwart. Um, then the next tier I have Yuka and Rhea, both for similar reasons. I think Rhea higher than Yuka because I think Rhea will have an obligatory we need to put this heel over uh run at some point, whether it's with the white or the red or just like a really strong tag run or whatever it may be. Like I think she will be always in the mix. Um in a title mix because she's going to be a top heel in the company. I don't think that's insane to say that she will kind of have that vibe. And Yuka, like I said, I kind of expect her to be like a Jungle Kiona, um, at best, a Jungle Kiona at best, Saida at worst. Unfortunately, uh, where I think it's very possible that Saida, she just kind of, like I said, she just never really gets to challenge much for singles, but is a great tag wrestler and gets that respect. And then in the top tier, it's Shino, Yuzuki, and Seri. Obviously, I think I have Seri, Yuzuki, and Shino in that order. Seri on top, Shino on bottom. Um, I think Seri is going to be the first one to get the red belt of the three. Um, I think she already has the tag belt under her belt. I think it'll be a race between Seri and Yuzuki to win the Grand Slam. Obviously, it's also raced with Mayu, but between the youngins, I think that they're both going to be great candidates for the Grand Slam. Shino, too early to tell, but she's obviously going to be a white belt champion. Like, unless she gets like hurt or she retires early, she's going to win the white belt. There's no doubt in my mind. Um,
Mhm.
and from there, the sky's the limit for her. But from like a forecastable point of view, I have to put her below Sari and Yuzuki, just because like she's 15. So like like you can't really forecast as well. But she is in the top tier of the rooks in
Okay.
terms of future.
So you kind of disregarded all of the question, but it's fine.
Wait, what was
So
what?
it was ranking them. You
Yeah, I did.
you
I
copped
have
out.
no. I have Sarah, Yuzuki, Shino,
Yeah, but you said you
Gap.
had tiers, Dylan.
Okay,
You said you
okay. You know
had
what? You do it, and we can
tiers.
both say our ranking. Okay, go ahead.
It's fine. Right. So I had at the bottom Nagisa Tachibana, second from last Yuki Minami, third from the bottom Kazuna Tanaka, fourth from the bottom Rhea Seto. They'll probably give her stuff, but I'm really just not blown away by her as a wrestler. I think everybody else will eventually surpass her and just be better. Uh, Next up is Komomo Minami. Uh, I don't really know if they're gonna give her either of the top belts. It's really hard to predict that right now. But I think she will be a very talented wrestler and somebody that they can lean on, kind of as a workhorse of sorts. So
Mm,
she's kind of ranked lower because of the kayfabe achievements aspect. I have Yuka Yamazaki fourth because I just feel like she's somebody who will win the Twin Star. There's no way she doesn't eventually. She's such an obvious heel as well that she'll eventually get a heel run, and that usually means winning belts in Rossi's
yeah,
companies. So
yeah.
I think she's got a lot of title runs in her future, and I think she's a very adaptable, versatile wrestler who will come in handy. I have Shino in number three. I think the world of Shino. I think she will eventually have a legendary UN title reign. Like it's almost destined to happen that she will win the UN title and will have a 400-day run full of absolute bangers. So I think I think she just laps a lot of them achievement wise and talent wise because I already think she's going to be an absolute demon. Second is probably Yuzuki. I think she's obviously somebody they're going to push like in the short term future. And so if you're asking short term, she's probably number one. But Seri came in as the super rookie, and Seri is getting pay per view matches with a who's who in pro wrestling. So Seri is the one who is going to be the ace one day. She is going to be the world champion. She's going to be the leader of the promotion. And so I feel like you have to put Seri number one. But yeah, Yuzuki is the obvious number two. I mean, she's going to be probably UN champion in the next month
Mhm.
and she's already great and had one of the best matches in Marigold history. So, I think she if you were just ranking
Well,
it
yeah.
on like versatility and usefulness in the ring, she'd probably maybe be first, but the kayfabe achievements kind of I think take Seri ahead of her.
we have pretty much the same list outside of a couple bumps. Because
Yeah.
yeah, I have, if you want me to be official, Seri on top, Izuki at 2, Shino at 3, um, Rei at 4, Yuka at 5, Kumamo at 6, Kazuna at 7, Tachibana at 8, and Yuki Minami at 9.
Mm,
Yuka and Rhea, I do kind of get your point. I do think that like a heel run for Yuka would kind of eat alive Rhea's potential here.
yeah.
Uh, like if that's something that they plan on doing down the line. But since we're not really looking at that yet, I'm not looking at that yet. Like I still, as much as I see like where people think she's like where people see her as a heel, um, I think there's a certain level of like of I don't know. I question if she will turn heel anytime soon, or if that'll just be like a late stage thing after her kind of run, her peak might be done,
Yeah.
whatever. Uh, so that's why I have Rhea ahead of her because Rhea will just be the default heel um, after Misa because
Mm, okay.
Misa's very very young is the thing. So Rhea might
Yeah.
also just be like eighth because she'll never be Misa. You know what I mean? Because Misa will always kind of be in her way.
Mhm. Um,
But yeah, I stand by that.
yeah, I mean the top three being the same kind of says it off, and the bottom three as
Yeah.
well. Um,
Yeah. All right,
okay, I'm
and I
gonna.
really hope Kazuna does changes. Like I hope Kazuna can change my mind and
Yeah,
prove me wrong. But it's hard.
um, I'm gonna have to start skipping some questions because we've been going at it for a while.
Mhm.
If you were Rossi, what three names would you pick up to add to the Marigold roster that are somewhat realistic? Um, so I will start. I think they need another foreign Haas. And so if I was Rossi, first thing I'm doing is I'm picking up the phone and I'm calling a woman wrestles in New York, that area called Zenith. The name alone is cool as fuck. She is stacked. She is a very good Haas. I saw her wrestle Jordan Blade, and it was a very, very good match. I think she could translate very well to Joshi as like the bodyguard for Darkness Revolution. I think that's a role that I think they miss. I do think they miss having a monster to just kind of base some of the matches around. So I think bringing in Zenith would be one of the first things I do. I think she'll be a very useful addition as like the heater of Darkness Rev. Um, I would sign Hiroyo Matsumoto. I am shocked she hasn't shown up yet. If you need to replace Mirai, Hiroyo is about as close as you're gonna get to what Mirai does really well. Like Hiroyo Matsumoto is a very very talented woman, so I would sign her. Um, and the third one I think is difficult because there's a lot of names that I like, but obviously I don't think they would join. You know, somebody like a Makoto probably won't sign. Venny probably wouldn't sign, but I would throw the bag at Venny immediately. Um, like the free agent market beyond that is a little bit light. So honestly, yeah, I would take Yukina Uehara from Actress Girls. She's tall,
Mhm.
she does kicks, she's an idol. That's not to love.
Um, I'm I'm gonna not say FWC because
Yeah.
it's obvious. Um, I'll say Mai Yukihi is the big one.
Hmm.
Um, she already wrestled there, so I'm like, why don't you just sign her?
Yeah.
Um, Mikey's the big one. Uh
Assuming we can convert like a Chanyota to a full time deal if you want.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't want to just wrestle there already. Um, I'm not locked in on outside of Japan women's wrestling lately because I was gonna say it's like, did Layla Hirsch retire? I know her knee got fucked and she
Think
like
she was trying out to be a ref for
okay.
WWE.
Um, yeah. Well, because I'm thinking of like I don't know that so many women's wrestlers in America and in Europe got signed, uh,
Yeah.
either got hurt while they were signed or got benched while they were signed forever,
Hmm.
and then got released and now might still be good. I don't know. They haven't wrestled like
Yeah.
at an actual match in like 10 years, it feels
I
like.
know exactly who you're
Um,
thinking of as well.
I'm thinking of like two or three people. Yeah.
Leah
But
James.
but yeah, so Leah James is a perfect example. But Layla Hirsch as well. Like
Mm.
I don't know. Um, but yeah, I would say Mayu Iwatani,
They got him stumped.
FWC. Let's move on.
Okay, all right.
Maiki and FWC. Let's really like start some chaos on this roster. Why not?
Hell yeah. What do you expect from the Senjo rookie tournament coming up?
I expect a lot of good things.
Yeah, it's a very, very good lineup. Genuinely one of
Oh,
the
also
strongest Gaja Umas ever.
you skipped the only question that I had like kind of prepared,
What was
which is
it?
very fun. Best rookie year ever. Because I was like,
I don't
holy
think we can
fuck, that's an
answer that.
insane question.
Yeah,
Like
I
I
don't
was
think we
trying
can
to
answer
think of
that
like,
because so
yeah,
many AJW wrestlers would debut and not make tape for like 2 years. Like they would just
correct.
show up and you'd be like, "Who the fuck is this?" And they'd be like, "Oh, they've been here for like 2 years now." And you're like,
I mean,
"What?"
the answer would probably be like
He's a pop.
if it's if it's from before 2010, it'd be like Mako or Kato,
Mm,
probably Kato or
yeah,
Mako. Or something of that sort. Soccer
yeah,
Hirota, depending on if you like if you
maybe,
like
yeah,
her rookie stuff, because she was really fun. Because it wouldn't be like an AJW wrestler.
yeah.
Uh,
It's very difficult to know with AJW because they wouldn't
and
put.
then yeah, I mean
That's
like
kind of why I
Yuzukan's an
didn't.
obvious one. Because
Yeah.
I was thinking of 2010 because I didn't even you know
Yeah,
maybe
it's just
Utami.
a difficult one to do all time because so much of it is either not available or they were stuck doing weird shoot stuff in AJW for a little bit. So I don't know. But yeah, the Senjo Rookie Tournament, I mean, it's going to be very good. I think it's probably the best Jaja Uma lineup they've had.
Yeah,
And I think it
really
could
excited
do
for it.
a good job of like really establishing some of the names there because I think a lot of people are probably very new to some of the wrestlers. And I think they're going to really impress throughout the tournament. So.
Ooh, but you forgot the other
uh,
part. Do you think Stardom big leagues other companies? Uh,
Nah, they don't care
no, they
about
don't. It,
that stuff.
yeah, I mean they do, but not with these wrestlers specifically.
Yeah, I mean they don't seem to mind people taking pins, so it's fine. You know,
Emma is going to lose first round.
yeah,
Rion might make it to the second round, but
yeah. Well, Rian just lost for the junior belt, so they'll want to make her look somewhat good. But
yeah.
yeah, okay. See, I want to check who exactly is included in this because it's um, sorry, what faction do all the unaffiliated rookies slot into? And I just want to make sure that I have the right list. So on Stardom's website, the unaffiliateds currently are Ane Kanaya, Emma Maishima, Matoi Hamabe, and Kikyo Furusawa. Matoi is such an obvious Stars wrestler, and they were
Yes.
trying to recruit her beforehand, so I think she goes to Stars.
Yeah.
Ane doesn't fit the age profile of Neo Genesis, as far as I know, but she is so Neo Genesis. I could so picture her doing
Yeah,
that dance.
she's actually like 5 years older than them.
Really? Okay, yeah. See, they might
4.
want to keep the age thing there, but if they don't, I think Ane to Neo Genesis would be perfect. Um, Kikyo, maybe me Vida Loca. I think she'd be like kind of cool there.
I think Kikiyomi Vito Loco it makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Um
And then what just leaves
Emma.
Emma? I genuinely don't know. She's such
I think
an interesting one. She could just go to God's Eye or EXV and just kind of join the fold.
yeah, I think it would be Matoy and Stars, obviously. Kanaya in Cosmic Angels. Um
Oh, interesting.
Emma Maishima in I'd say EXV. I think God's
Okay.
Eye is stuffed. Um Even though I mean EXV has a bunch of two big rooks, obviously. And then Kikyo obviously in Mi Vida Loca.
Okay.
I think she clearly works off of Bozilla and Akira incredibly well.
Yeah,
That's
she's
like
just
the most
kind of got a
notable thing
vibe.
we've seen from her. Yeah.
Now,
Also
this is
just
a big question.
color wise. Yeah.
It's a long question. It's our last one. Two Joshi companies, Marigold and Stardom combined, will this year sell 4 times as many tickets as Stardom in 2019. Question is, how much growth do they still have business wise? Is there still a market for them to grow into? How many of these new fans have or will splash out into other companies? And will we see an impact on the indies? within 2 years. So loaded question, but essentially, if you didn't keep up, the scene is better than ever in some ways. You have two companies now that are racing ahead of 2019 Stardom and ticket sales. How is it? Are we near the ceiling? My take on it is Marigold's growth is tethered to Stardom's. Marigold does not sell for 1,000 plus Korakuens this year if Saya versus Tam doesn't draw 7,000. I think if Stardom continues, I think Stardom has a lot of room to continue growing. And if they do continue to grow and expand and legitimize women's wrestling, then Marigold will grow off the back of that to an extent. I think the entire women's wrestling scene will grow because what's happening currently is not that women's wrestling is just like gaining some steam. I think it's being legitimized. I think there's a new generation of people who aren't subject to the old sexist mindsets. Like Nagayo, I saw the Dream Slam thing where Nagayo went retired and she was like, "Oh, I'm not a wrestler, I'm an actress." And you're like, "What? You are the most famous wrestler in history. What the fuck do you mean you think you're an actress?" So I think what we're seeing is currently Stardom legitimizing women's wrestling, and there's so much there's a pretty massive market I think still to be explored by Stardom, and a lot of growth to do.
Yeah. I'll kind of take the other part of the question, which I think is more interesting. So obviously, there's more growth. There's always more growth until we have re-achieved the heights of mid 2010s New Japan. There's always more growth in Japanese wrestling to be had. Now, can they make that? It's difficult, obviously. Hell, not even just until we reach the growth that we've seen in the past, fucking in the 80s and the 90s. Like, there's always more room to grow. Um, that's just how wrestling is. It's kind of an infinite. There's an infinite amount of popularity it can have, but it almost never has that. Uh, but I think just from an art form standpoint, it's like obviously it's such a there's a reason we like wrestling. Wrestling's such a fascinating and intoxicating form of art that it anybody can like wrestling. It's just a matter of converting them into wrestling fans. But that's the point. I think the thing about the indies is more interesting because what we're seeing right now, and people can disagree. Uh, I don't have all of the statistics. I know okay probably does, so he'll probably yell at me. But what we're seeing right now is that it's like Marvelous is doing well, Sendai is doing well, Marigold and Stardom obviously doing well, TGPW is doing well. Other than that, Oz is doing well. So if we're talking about independence, outside of Sendai, which I don't know if counts as independent because it's technically owned alongside Michinoku Pro, but outside of Sendai, Marvelous, and Oz, the indies are kind of worse than I've ever seen them.
Well, yeah, I mean, quality wise, some of them, like Wave
I I
is kind
f
of
I
screwed,
feel
but
like they're just I'm sure the numbers are not as bad as they were, and I'm talking about since I've started watching
yeah.
independent women's wrestling. So, like, kinda post-COVID. So, obviously not
Mhm.
during COVID, but, like, in the past 3 years or so. It's not looking great, um, outside of when they have a bump from a Saya Kamitani. So, that leads me to believe that it's not like, it is not gonna bleed through that much. It might a little bit, but I think, and this is anecdotal, but I think the indies need to be inviting to fans, and I don't think they are right now. In that,
It depends though, because I mean, some of them do their job. Pure J is there, and they take in
Mhm.
trainees, and they make money, and that's a success. And like people are making full time money doing Pure J. Sari is able to run these produce shows, and she lives off of produce shows and her dates. And Seedling has gotten more trainees. Like I think there is definitely a better scene because there's going to be more fans. There's going to be more wrestlers,
I
and
think the trainees thing is the big thing. Is the
yeah,
biggest upside to non
'cause that's what
uh
happened with AJW. Like,
mixed.
I compare a lot of this to AJW. If Stardom becomes anything like that, the scene benefits because AJW got so big You had a huge market of fans, and you had dozens and dozens and dozens of women who wanted to be wrestlers that you could
Yeah.
fill AJW, JWP, LPW, Gaia, eventually like JD and Neo
Arjan
Ladies
and Neo.
and Arjan. So like, I think if Stardom continues the growth as I would predict that they do, I think eventually there will be a benefit to the scene. And I think there's already slightly been a benefit to the scene. I mean, nobody's retiring like at nearly the rate they used to.
No.
This
Yeah.
is a job for a lot more women than it used to be. So I think we've already seen the positive impacts of that growth, and I think we'll continue to see it as Stardom gets bigger, because I think they really are. I think they're changing the game for women's wrestling. They're changing how women are viewed, and it's gonna just keep getting better.
More so, my point was that again, it's anecdotal, but when I got into independent Joshi wrestling, uh, there was a lot for me to sink my teeth into that wasn't Stardom adjacent, and I wonder if that's still there because
Oh, I think
my
so. I
biggest point
mean,
here is that there is no Arisa Nakajima and Nai Takahashi anymore. There is no like Sakura Roda isn't operating on that level. Like these
yeah, but I think they
hardworking
will come though.
veterans. I don't know if
I
these
feel,
hardworking veterans exist anymore. And that
well,
sounds
it
really harsh,
depends.
but we talk about it very often that a lot of the new vets in the indies um don't really seem to care much, frankly.
I do agree. But I
um
mean, for everyone that doesn't, I think there's a Hiroyo and a Ryu Mizunami and a Makoto. Makoto's out
yeah.
here doing dentist office shows for Gotta Move, like she cares. She gives a shit, you know?
Oh, for sure.
So I think there's definitely a pot of gold at the end of the tunnel for everybody. I mean, even Seedling, I mean, the fact that they've rebounded from losing everything is insane. So I do think there's a bright future for everybody, but it's up to the companies to make it work. I mean, Wave got exposure from Saya Kamitani, but why would you stay? You do have to give these people a reason to stay, um, and to watch. And I just think that the companies who
Yeah, I
do
think
will
I think
benefit
it is
from it, and we've
important.
seen that.
I think it is important to preface that I am a I am a Wave fan. So
Yeah,
my doomerism ultimately comes from I've seen what has happened to Wave and I question like in spite of Joshi doing better, like this year and recently. Um like I've seen what happened to a company I once loved. So and also, Seedling. I think Seedling has had a fine year. But from a you know, like what's going on standpoint, it's not really inspiring a shit ton of faith and excitement for me. But that's also for me. It's not for new fans, so it's completely different sort of scenario. Um, we'll see. I mean, it's already obviously Sendai, and Oz, which are arguably the three top independent companies. So like that's a good sign ultimately.
yeah. No, I think like some of the stuff that was asked in that question, we've already seen improve even over our fandom. So I do think as Stardom continues to grow and legitimize things, that will get better for everybody. Um, but we've been talking for a long time, so it's time to let you guys go. So I'm going to close the show unless you have any closing remarks.
Uh, y- yeah, y'all stop being assholes to each other. Hot
Yeah.
take. Unless you're an asshole, and then everybody should be an asshole towards you, obviously, and you should suffer for that. But
That's real.
yeah.
Okay. Well, what's the closing? I can't remember. Shit, I was in the intro. um,
Yeah.
oh, if you want to stand, you may stand. If you want to sit, you may sit. Believe today, shine tomorrow. You decide what you believe in.
Shine forever, Stardom Quest Goldo. Passion.
Ijo.